Ladies and some bitches, welcome back to the Netherkast. What? The Netherkast. What? The Mortal Kombat podcast. What? This is episode 112. What? Is the 112th episode. What? Cyborg and Temp are still on hiatus. What? That means I'm still your host, and that's the bottom line, because the Razor's Edge said so. Now I got just one thing to say to my co-host, Shad, Django, and Smokeman. If you're happy to be back on the show, give me a hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's good enough.
Whatever it was you just did, let's never do it again.
Look, it's hard to come up with these fucking wrestling intros, man.
Isn't it? It's
How
really
about we
tough.
just don't, because wrestling's terrible, and nothing about it is good.
Damn.
I kind of like it.
Well,
It's fun
I mean,
for me.
you
It
know,
gives me something to do with my time while I'm waiting for you guys to set up for the episode.
I just had to smoke and pee, nothing big.
Well,
All right,
it takes
let's do
like
this.
10 minutes, so...
At the same time?
Yes, depending
should-
where I am.
Okay, good. No, that's just multitasking.
I should
Good.
point out that Cyborg, Down4, and Temp will be doing a random select later tonight. So, you know, they are still active on the channel. You can't do two shows at the same time. They're busy. It's a thing. But
Man,
let's
that'd be
talk
crazy.
about what we're here to talk about. So we had a combat cast today.
That we did.
And we saw Kitana, Devorah, and we already saw Cetrion. Does anybody have anything new to say about her?
I kind of really don't, other than the fact that the alt looks good, really good.
It's alright.
And I hope it's kind of, I hope there's some interesting things going on in the story that actually let us see that. Seems like too good of a costume to waste on cosmetics.
I definitely like her not being like just a wash of gray and green. I don't think that color scheme worked very well.
The Captain Planet color isn't doing it for you?
No, I mean, and fucking, I made all the dumb jokes about her looking like the Statue of Liberty, but it's all that goes away, I feel, with these other colors, so I like it. And it tags her up with Shinnok, because he likes to wear red.
I think for most Mortal Kombat characters, they're so associated with a particular color scheme that shaders are dumb for them, but for a character like Cetrion, it actually does benefit.
All I really have to say is fuck the wind moves.
She doesn't have that many. Plenty of room for Fujin.
It's not evidence one way or another that
It's
Fujin
not.
is or isn't in the game. Let's just wait for the first combat pack announcement and see what happens.
Honestly,
Then,
most of
if
the things
nothing-
Fujin would do with wind are more like Ermac and Kenshi moves anyway, and neither of those guys is in, so...
I mean, you can take that entire wind tunnel graphic that she uses, which stops people from jumping in properly, which is really cool, by the way, and you put that around him, and you give him extra mobility while inside of it, and you've basically got something that's cut and pasted from mythologies. I'm down with it. I'm cool.
There's so much untapped potential, and I hate talking about that word potential with Mortal Kombat, but there is with that, dude, for movesets. It's definitely not like, listen, if they did release Fujin and he chucked out whatever the fuck that thing that Cetrion throws out, I'd be disappointed. He can do better than that.
It's,
She can't.
I don't know, I feel like... I don't really care. Like, all the things I want to see Fujin do, I haven't seen other characters do yet.
Yep, that's how I feel.
A lunging knee. I don't have that many expectations. Dive kicks. There's dive kicks left, right, up, down, and center.
Yeah, nobody owns the dive kick.
Like, apart from wind slams, which, be pretty easy to do, and if you're going to recycle some Ermac assets and move properties, what else has he really got?
I mean, I always talk about him suffocating you and pulling all the oxygen out of your lungs. That would be pretty tight, but...
I mean, that's a little overpowered for a special. That's probably more of a...
Well, I mean, it just sets you up for a free hit. It's a classic.
I guess.
Use it as a stun maneuver. Have the guy jump in place for a couple seconds.
Absolutely, dude. Fujin is actually OP if you're using him right. But we've had this conversation, boy.
All you kind of got to do is watch any of Avatar: The Last Airbender ever.
And want to do it. That's another big requirement.
Yeah, the wanting is the problem.
Yeah, I don't think they have that one down.
But anyway, so how about Kitana?
All right, yeah, let's start there. So, first complaint I heard is, why does she look all Asian? Guys, just go back a little bit. Go
is
take
that
a
real?
look. Maybe, yes. I've heard people complaining she looks too Asian.
Man, too Asian for what?
I don't know.
For her face in previous games is what I'm sure they mean.
I'm pretty much just seeing what's on the MK Gold Select screen.
Gold was the most that she ever looked like that, but to be fair, they were actually trying to make her look more like Talisa Soto, who is Hispanic.
Yeah. So, exactly, get fucked. There's nothing wrong with her face. She looks fine.
She does look good. I mean, yeah. Her face does not look like it did in the last game, but whose does, except for Raiden,
nobody's does. It's just what they do now.
Don't look for appearance continuity in the MK series.
And, I have issues with their consistency problems, but Kitana is not where I'm going to draw the line on that.
No, I think she looks good. Come on, man. Really? You're gonna fucking... I'm going on a roller coaster ride because I haven't read much or heard much of anything today. I watched the cast later, but no, I haven't seen a lot of people's reactions, so I'm interested in hearing about what that was. But man, if you guys are talking about Asian, dude, fuck off. She has a headband.
Yep, that's all I'm saying.
It's tight.
I think she looks good in both her Netherrealm and human skins.
I mean, we have talked about the costumes before.
We have. But this is the first time I think that we've actually seen the Netherrealm skin in action a little bit.
That's true.
And people were all thinking that it's fat, too. And no, it doesn't make her look fat.
She's got kind of like a Princess Leia pair of buns in her hair?
Yes. Which that was not in that screenshot that people made into the fat Happy Meal Katana.
No, it was not.
She had a different hat on in that thing.
I guess that Shao Kahn, that skull thing tiara that she wears in the cutscenes we've seen is gear.
Probably.
That's what I was wondering. Is her gear slots just going to be like a tiara, the fans, and
I suspect that her mask is going to be like mask and headband, like the full face section is
like headgear
affected by her gear for that slot. And then, I guess it'll be that, the fans, and... Fuck, what is the third thing?
Sai?
Could be the Sai, maybe?
Well, no, the Sai isn't equipped. She doesn't always have it.
I don't think the Sai would actually go very well. There must be something else that we missed.
There's some gear options where they're not always have it in the loadout.
Well, maybe, I mean, is it like belts or boots or what the fuck? Because I didn't see a third thing.
Sub has that stupid shit on his belt. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
We just don't even have enough information on what she can really do with her gear at the moment.
Yeah, and the thing is, a Revenant costume looks like gear from head to toe. That's kind of what they do. They're edgy and covered in shit.
They is?
So it's really hard to tell which parts of the costume are the costume and which are equipped gear.
I do like the Leia buns. I've heard some folks out there said they prefer it when Melina or Jade have the buns and Katana has her hair. Everyone's got a favorite hairstyle for their favorite Barbie doll. Listen, you can swap that shit out, I guess. Be happy, everyone. She looks good, man. I really like the superhero tight look she's got going on. She does look hella superhero, but that also makes her look hella UMK3. UMK3 to me is where the fucking superhero shit really they went for it. Tights, bright, colorful tights on everybody. And that's very much what she's rocking here. The only thing that kind of stands out is a little bit weird to me is that if you just sort of look at her human skin, there's kind of an unintentional heart pattern going on around the chest.
I don't think it's unintentional.
I want to believe it is, because it's just a little bit Masters of the Universe. I mean, that checks out. That's Warner Brothers shit. Warner Brothers, well, DC does a lot of Masters of the Universe. See, it's all going to come together.
They did a freaking crossover between He-Man and Injustice. What was that about?
Listen, I know. It's like a degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever.
Like, of all the things to cross over Injustice with.
Anyway, Katana. She got
he made me
heels.
sick.
A lot of people wearing heels in this game. And
I have
katanas are
always
actually
I have always
necessary.
said that Katana is a character who should be wearing heels, because I don't give a fuck about reality and whether or not you can fight in them. They make someone look elegant and graceful.
Wait, hang on.
That's
hang
what
on.
they're for. They make her look royal.
Wait, the guy that has problems with Kano spinning in place doesn't
Kano
give a
spinning
fuck
in-
where heels are concerned. I gotta call you
Indians
on
are
it,
magical.
man. I'm
Australians are not.
There might be a doubly standard going on here.
Right
sorry. I
there.
think there's just a little bit of a double standard because Australians are very fucking magical.
That's an. You can believe that if you want.
The creatures are magical.
Okay,
Nothing
yes,
that
Australian
creates that
creatures
much
are
death
magical.
is-
Kano is not a drop bear. He's a person. If Kano was a drop bear, I wouldn't question his power to cannonball. We really don't need to have the conversation about Kano cannonballing. Heels is an aesthetic choice. Cannonballing is a move.
It's the fact that you said you don't care about realism, so I had to call you on that.
My problem with Kano flying isn't realism, it's that it looks stupid. That
I've
is
just never
aesthetic.
Look, when he's like zooming around the screen like a pinball, I understand it, but I have no problem with a little bit of delayed startup time. Anyway, we're getting off topic here. So, she's got the fan lift, as good as the fan lift ever was. Still got some nice air fans and ground fans, which are really quick this time through.
She has stolen Hotaru's grasshopper kick.
You sure that's not an updated version of the pretty kick?
Well, that's what I was thinking, that it might be like their new take on the pretty kick.
I'm thinking that's what it is.
It's probably that, but I liked the MK9 pretty kick, I think, is the best animated version still, because you could, like, feint and do it high or low.
Yeah.
And it actually, like... The thing that makes the pretty kick quote-unquote pretty is the way she kind of swings her hips back and forth and spins as she's doing it, and there's no spinning in this version, it's just kind of a bike kick.
It does have more resemblance to Hotaru's grasshopper. I do agree with you there. I think that they maybe just saw something good and decided to go with it.
Man, the deep cuts.
Hey, Hotaru fans, there's your moment in the sun.
Yeah.
Look, he only
like
has
it.
2 moves, you better fucking be able to remember what they were.
I hope you all feel represented now.
I like Hotaru, man, fuck it.
Dude, listen, it's fine, dude. You can like what you want.
So she's also got a little fan maneuver where she kind of has them orbit around her body, and it works as kind of like an anti-air.
Yeah, now we're into her gear. That replaces the fan
You
lift.
could use combos with it in the corner.
Yeah. I don't ever expect to see a lot of this going because I don't see a lot of people wanting to give up that fan lift.
Yeah,
Dude, I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's hard to imagine not playing Katana with the fan lift.
Dude, the fucking Vogue pose is pretty tight, man. I really like it a lot.
I do like the move.
just
But,
like, hey,
you know,
boom,
I
there's
also
fucking
like
paparazzi.
I also like Johnny Cage calling in Jimmy for a clothesline, and I'm still never going to equip it because I got to have my shadow kick.
Yeah, hard choices, man. Hard choices.
It's pretty tight. I like it.
So now she has like a square, like they're calling it the square boost now, not the square wave flight. And now she can, and now she can apparently do it on the ground too, as a piece of special move gear.
Yep, she's still.
It's just like it's basically
still-
a backwards ass slam.
Yeah, she's
It's an
still
ass
Princess
blast.
Peaching it.
It's still the ass blast, and it still looks very good. Snap it now. She can blast you down low and.
I
up
mean,
high.
I like it that way. I hope she never doesn't use her ass for it, because then her hands are free to use the fans to propel herself, which makes the animation make sense.
Who gives a fuck about realism? Like, this is a fucking video game, man.
Again,
I
it's
am
not
a
about
little bit-
realism, it's about not looking stupid. I have never
you
liked
do-
the square wave punch on either her or Sonya.
if you think an ass blast move doesn't look dumber than a cannonball, holy shit, sir. She's
Man, how is
hitting you with her
how
ass,
is
and she
slamming
doesn't
your
even
back
have that
into
much
someone any
of a
different from slamming your shoulder into them?
I mean, if Goro was hitting you with his ass, that'd be a different story. This is Katana's little ass. She doesn't even
I've
have an ass.
always maintained that she should be using her elbow in all of these. But anyway, she also uses her ass to spring herself back up during her crushing blow. And that's the moment I kind of found really ridiculous.
Maybe there is some hidden lore with Katana's ass.
She does kind of trampoline up off the ground, doesn't she?
Yeah,
Like, she just bounces down and up. It's fucking weird. Like, I can't lie. It makes me giggle just a little bit.
Which is good. You need a little bit of that in every Mortal Kombat.
I don't know. Katana's ass is just such a thing.
But it's back. I'm glad the move is back. I'm sure I'm gonna get fucking hit with it a bunch, and people's gonna get out of my corner.
It is. So at this point, like, I'm just thinking about, like, characters and the moves that are most classic to them and what's come back and what hasn't. And really, the only people getting shafted are Sub-Zero's clone and Sonya, aren't they? Like, everybody else has all of their shit.
You know what? Yeah.
Cabal's Plasma Blast.
Yeah, but he throws the saw in the exact same way he would shoot a blast.
It's still a significant difference. It's an absence of a trademark special.
I think the Cabal is to axe like Sub-Zero is to that new ice orb ball that just sits there. I don't think that those two quite are the same thing. I don't think those two are comparison.
We've got one of our comments is pointing out Baraka's blade spin. I don't consider that a classic move. Like, that's some weird deception shit.
Yeah.
Well,
I think he had it in Trilogy. It's whatever.
It was almost
he had it in Trilogy, and it was planned to be an MK2. But
they didn't put it in MK2 because it's fucking broken.
It's broken, and it looks just a little bit silly. So, I wouldn't exactly call it a classic himself either.
I don't really count that. Blade Spark, Chop Chop, fucking...
Yeah, those are the moves, man.
I also consider, like, the Blade Lunge is a good modern classic. I really like that since it was introduced in 3D games.
God, it's kicking my ass in this game.
Yes.
That thing is so good. Jesus Christ. What else about Katana? I really like that move that she does where she like catches the projectile and she can buff her fans. For melee, that is something that I really, really dig. It's a cool design choice. She fucking takes your zoning bullshit and becomes a better melee character. It's pretty tight.
But again, I feel like she's also the fifth character to have like a projectile absorbing and boosting special move.
It's sort of like she had that move where she'd sharpen the fan as a buff, like just do it when she wanted to do it in X, but now it actually like the opponent has to play into it for it to pop, you know?
Which is kind of cool. Like, you know, her melee is like, you know, only that strong whenever someone's zoning is that strong, which is kind of a fun, like, ninja-y, like, resourceful type vibe. I feel. I'm trying to think. Does Lou's nunchuck projectile parry, that doesn't buff him, though, does it?
No, I don't.
I thought he just, like, destroys it. Like he
it just blocks the
side
projectile.
Yeah. Man, I really like the fireball makes you a better melee fighter. Like I like that thing.
I also like that move where the X version of what was it? Her was it the butt slam where the X version is she drops down on you like Smoke's the X teleport?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, she's also got the little mid-air boost again, which is
nice.
The
flutter,
yeah, the flutter.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking salty.
Why are you salty?
That shit was annoying.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of the point. It's always annoying when you play a character that can fuck with their jump arc.
You know what? A lot of people aren't going to equip it. They're not going to see the utility in it as useful compared to having more attacks.
I mean, I'm already seeing a lot of people going, jumping is suicide in this game. So,
I mean...
Yeah, I don't see
it is still the best way to get in, because dashing is... I mean, it depends on the character and how good their dash is, I suppose.
It doesn't matter. Like, that shit's going to be completely different when the game comes out anyway.
Yeah.
People's going to be dashing better, walking better, all this fucking... Like, people's going to have different moves. These variations are not really going to be in the game, except for the one that he mentioned. Fucking Jane has moves like, you know, they're still changing out moves. Like, you can't really judge based on the beta, which is one of the most frustrating things about the beta. I wish this made me feel any like more confident or not confident. Like, help me gauge a little better about how familiar I'm going to feel going into the game.
I suppose the main thing the beta is supposed to test, other than like how broken Cabal is the netcode. You know.
I'm glad you jumped onto the wisdom of that state.
Yes, of course. That's definitely what it was. Well, I mean, it was different. It was there for that and for PR. That's some dank PR. Pre-order for a demo, like, yeah, that's sick. And every fighting game should have some kind of free demo, free trial thing, because it's fucking hard to get people to play these games these days, man.
Well,
I don't know if you guys know this. Fighting games are not the most booming genre.
They are, I mean, they ask a lot of the player. You have to get good, noob. No,
you do.
People don't really want to play that kind of game. Like, video games are for, like, casual fun, you know? Not everybody's looking for, like, a fighting game or a Dark Souls experience. They just want to mash buttons and watch cutscenes.
Video games are for whatever you want to do with them. That's all I'll say.
They are.
I may not necessarily agree with a lot of the competitive or FGC mindset, and there's bad communication on both sides because neither can understand the perspective of the other. And I try to make it my business to try to keep a neutral perspective and see where each and every single person's coming from. And I was there for all these years when people wanted MK to be a better fighting game, to be taken seriously. We've got that now. I wouldn't take that back for the world. It's a wonderful thing.
It is. It's super competent. They've gotten much more competent in recent years. But man, when you could walk into an arcade and drop a quarter in and play a fighting game, like, that barrier of entry is tiny. Nowadays, it's like, not only are these things so hard to fucking play and get good and be competent at, you got to pay $60 front to do it. Like, there's like, no way, man. So I love it when there's like a demo type thing, or the thing DOA did with Core Fighters or shit like that. Killer Instinct. I think more games need to have that.
To be really, I think I probably pumped about $200 worth of quarters into my MK2 arcade machine when I was a kid.
Oh man, who didn't? That's what was so dank about it, man. Like, it was the equalizer.
So $60 up front, no problem.
But
That's fine by me.
But if you like wanted to try it out for fun to see if you like it and you didn't like it, it's a quarter. You know, it's all good. You don't get that with fucking $60. So do we miss anything for Katana? I like that Fatality. I'm a rather big fan of that Fatality.
I love the spinning fans.
I like the fact that it's holding their corpse up in place at the waist.
Yeah.
The neck. It's very stylish.
I like the way that she's, like, waving her arms to call them back like she's controlling them, and then she kicks it, and it kind of reminds me of Liu Kang's Shaolin Soccer, and I like that about it.
Oh, that actually reminds me, like, there's a couple of points during the gameplay stream where you can actually, like, see her, like, kind of raising her hand, and the fan just swoops back through the air at an angle, and she catches it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So she's got, like, some sort of, like, psychic shit going on with those things now.
Well, she was doing that in X, too, like, especially in the cutscenes, and I like that about it, because it makes the fans more, like, a part of her and not just... Yeah. Like, they're not just weapons she uses, they're enchanted, and she's got control over them, and that's what makes them special.
Everybody's got a Thor hammer these days, man.
You know, it's not like Kano's carrying 20 regular knives, so he can just throw them forever. She has, like, 2 or 3 of these fans on her person. They teleport back to her, they come back to her through the air, like Thor's hammer.
If they wind up on the ground, you can actually see them phase out of existence.
Yeah, that's how, like, Melina's thing does, too, I think.
Yeah, they're all... It's the same mechanic as Kung Lao's hat. They're enchanted weapons. That's the source of her powers.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying that like it's a mundane thing, but, you know, I still kind of marvel at the fact that we are at that point. Because they used to just, dig into the chest and, like, fly off a screen, you know? And she had an infinite amount of them. So they actually see these things disappearing and reappearing and following trajectories now. That's effort, and I commend them for that.
The thing with, like, these animation touches that add something to the lore, it's always one step forward, one step back. Because, you know, you're getting moves where characters' powers make more sense because they've been reanimated to, and at the same time you're getting intros where Devorah says she killed King Jared. And that would make Devorah 10,000 years old.
Let's save that for later.
Yeah.
Chitin was conquered before Edenia.
None
of this is...
We have to get to that later, man. We have to devote a section to that. First, the last detail about Kitana. She has a sai. She has a
Not
sigh.
just a sigh.
She does have an equip move
She
that
has-
gives her Melina's sigh.
Is someone snorting cocaine? Is it that bad? What am I hearing?
I think you're hearing Smokeman.
You're hearing the past where Smokeman is.
Okay.
He is
Or the distant
coming to
future.
us live from Mortal Kombat Armageddon way back in 2006.
Poor bastard.
Am I coming in okay? I'm in the. I got the headphones on right now.
You sound good now.
The cocaine help?
Yes.
Okay,
Excellent.
you're good and caught up now. Your energy levels are spiking
Yeah.
from the cocaine.
Okay, so she's got Melina's fucking sigh.
I mean, honestly, anybody really that surprised? Like, come on, man.
Well,
I didn't see her having the sigh happening.
all of the people who were convinced Melina's a secret character in this game are pretty goddamn surprised.
Where did that come from? Where's the lore? Fucking people.
It came from all these leaks that were being
What?
aggregated.
Fucking the dream goddess bullshit again. People just making shit up, and like eventually over time, it's like, it's real. She's in the game. God damn it! Like, no. Why do you do this to yourself?
You know, things change. Things change, and I wouldn't be at all surprised. If all of these leaks and all these things happening caused them to change their plans just a little bit.
Or
Maybe
fake
she
leaks.
was going to be in, and maybe now she's not because of the leaks. Who knows?
Fake leaks are dank, dude. Like, I would totally do that if I was a
Maybe.
kid. Like,
Maybe.
you know, throw people off the scent, keep people guessing. Maybe listen, you guys don't know everything, motherfuckers. Fuck the internet.
Either way, I kind of don't care. Like, Melina was trending on Twitter as of like an hour ago. Her name was barely even mentioned on the cast all day today, and she is trending on Twitter.
I mean, here's the thing of it.
Guys,
All of these Melina
fuck
fans
Melina.
started playing with MK9. Melina was not this big a character. She was not some kind of mainstay in the old timeline games. She's in, like, 4 out of 7 or something like that.
wasn't in Deadly Alliance, was not in Vanilla 3, was not in regular MK4.
She
Was
sits
not
out a
in
lot.
MK1.
In fact, she spent
Yeah.
most of the old timeline dead, just like she's dead now.
She
Yeah.
did. I mean, you know, the same is true with Liu Kang.
Katana
by the
killed
way.
her in MK2, in her first appearance. She was created to die. She's not a main character.
I am
like,
very
just-
happy that she is taking a breather. I mean, it's good for most characters to take a breather. There's some other characters that could also stand a breather. God damn it! But Melina's one. I think that I think the breather will actually benefit her in the long run. But I do like that Kitana has this trope now, this ongoing thing of the mournful variation, of the tribute variation type shit. I like that.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to touch up upon. Is I think Katana does not work in any game with a variation system. The fans do not offer a whole lot of variation, I guess. This is
I
twice
kind
in a
of
row
agree.
where you
I
have to
think
do that.
I think this mournful gimmick that Katana keeps getting stuck with, and the fact that she had Melina's ball roll in versus DC Universe, it kind of exposes a weakness in her natural moveset that she needs to keep borrowing from other people.
It's like she doesn't. The fans are all she has. It's like how Scorpion has the spear and the hellfire and shit. Like Katana doesn't have anything else. She just has the side, the fans, and that's all she has.
She's got her ass, bro. She uses it. Hell,
I mean,
uses that shit.
but it's her fans that allow her to hit you with her ass.
Man, if you wanna fucking cognitively frame that shit about, man, she's a fucking propeller in the sky with that shit. Like, okay, to me it just looks like she's fucking flying because she's going up and then hard 90-degree fucking turn. That
Yeah,
doesn't
she's
happen in
jumping
physics.
and then popping open her fans for a gust of wind that slams her into you.
I mean, dude, okay, sure, that's exactly what the physics are. But it doesn't matter what the physics are. Like, that's not the point.
Their magic wind element they make a tornado under you. That's what the fan lift does.
They do since MKX apparently. But I mean,
What it
I mean,
always
let's
did.
be
It
honest.
always lifted you with the wind. They are fans. You wave them and they
so
blow
many
air. That's what
things.
fans do.
There are so many things you can do with these things. You can concentrate on her having projectiles, either with the fans open or closed.
Oh God, does she have projectiles? Don't tell him that, dude. Jesus Christ.
You can lift people or knock them around with the wind, Fujin style.
You know.
I mean, here's the thing. Some of her assassin moves, like I don't think the dash came back.
No, are you talking about the run?
That's right. She's got a similar thing now.
Yeah, similar, but not.
I don't even
know how the hell that thing. I'm not sure how the hell the thing works. It looks like it's part of a combo string.
I gotta look at this shit. Now, keep in mind, they're not showing all the shit these characters have in their ability list. So.
It's another little
no, she doesn't have like a thing where she can full screen run at you as a special move.
Yeah, she doesn't have my Robin move that's fucking
gone.
Sick. Well, I mean, maybe.
It was a good addition. I don't know why they were.
Yeah, no. So the point I'm trying to make is there are things you can still be creative with her, even though all she really has to work with are magic teleporting wind fans.
I mean,
you can do a lot of things with the magic teleporting wind fans, and the fact that she's a ninja and fights like one.
I mean,
you don't have to keep stealing from Melina and Jade.
Reptile still fucking has like the Sub-Zero slide and all that shit. Like these things are ongoing. Like it's kind of a trope with Mortal Kombat.
Reptile sliding has been kind of his. Like, he owns that as much as Sub-Zero does at this point, though. Like, that's going all the way back to MK2. Kitana wasn't stealing from Melina in MK2.
Well, I mean, Reptile was still stealing from him in Mortal Kombat 1, wasn't he?
Yeah, but...
It's like, hey, I got the harpoon and I got the
hidden character. That's like saying Smoke should still only have Scorpion moves.
We're both pellet swaps, bro.
Let's never do that again. And no,
I mean,
we did not
do you want Noob Saibot to have the spear?
Uppercut.
Is that what you're telling me?
No.
You want him to have a spear? No, he doesn't fucking need a spear. He's got a homie.
Then Reptile doesn't need to have Scorpion and Sub-Zero's moves. He has his own slide.
He slides but he still does.
He slides in addition to Sub-Zero sliding.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me rolling my eyes? Just curious.
Dude,
I think this is a dumb thing.
You see those things.
I'm just saying, you could come up with Kitana shit that would be for Kitana. She doesn't need to keep stealing Melina and Jade's moves.
I think that her stealing these moves is actually a good thing and a featured, interesting idea. I hope
it's a weird thing to think.
I think it's no commentary as far as like creativity or her limited moveset whatsoever. I like it, and I think they should keep with it. I like movesets that encourage relationships in lore.
Why would Kitana care about... First of all, why would she have Mournful when Jade was apparently there the whole time off screen? Like, Revenant Kitana and Revenant Jade apparently were always working together. We just didn't see Jade for no good reason during MKX.
That's a whole other conversation.
Who is she mourning?
That's a whole other ball of wax. That's like, especially in this game, like it doesn't fucking matter. There's timelines everywhere.
Now
I don't know what's fucking canon. I'm pretty sure her being Katana Khan is not canon. Like, fucking, she's like, everybody can be Khan.
Logistics of non-canon game variations, like Liu Kang being face tattoos.
And Kenshi, whatever he had, possessed Kenshi and all that shit.
Anyway,
I think at a certain point you have to be mad that they don't do this shit for, like, a story reason. Like, it's just... Like, I'm still bitter that possessed Kenshi isn't an actual thing. I will never not be bitter. I'm going to my grave not forgiving them for that.
That is a complaint.
I've moved on and gotten over it. That's
a complaint that I have about story stuff, not for gameplay stuff, though.
No, on my grave, it will say, I still don't forgive you. That will be my epitaph.
I mean, that's fine. But I mean, like, you gotta pick which department you want to file that complaint at.
Especially now that you can pick and choose which moves you get and which moves you use. This is plainly just something for the Melina fans to get their Jones fixed with.
But are the Melina fans actually happy with this? It sounds like they're pretty mad.
Of course not. They're Melina fans. But you know who I really feel sorry for?
Jade fans weren't happy with it either.
Yeah, Jade fans didn't like Mournful, and nobody liked Triborg. Who is this pleasing?
Dude, listen. Scorpion swings his shit around like a whip now.
Look,
yeah,
listen,
like he always should have. Who is he stealing that from?
I have a few feelings, but I don't have that many feelings.
He's not stealing that from anyone. That's his.
He's not. Well, it's not his. It should have been his. That's the way that should be put. It should have been his.
Listen, I'm a Jade fan. I didn't like Mournful either. but I appreciated having something to work with, because I can appreciate shit, unlike people who gotta make a fucking change.org petition. Fuck you, people who got no sense.
Can you link that?
I would rather have nothing than
I'm not gonna
something
link
done
that.
poorly. I stand by that every single day of my life. I would rather have nothing than something done poorly.
I mean, but is that gameplay done poorly or is it story? I mean, they are two different things, especially with AAA games. You kind of have to take it as such.
I can't imagine either Mileena fans or most Kitana fans who want the pure Kitana experience ever equipping the Sai. Who's it for?
Cool, good for those fans. There's other fans out there, though. It would be fucked up. Listen, I would be.
It's for
pissed if
casuals who
Kitana
want to
could
try
equip-
a thing and then they're not actually going to main that character.
If Katana wanted to equip a Kano ball, like that would be fucking weird. Like, mournful Kano. But her equipping shit from her two counterparts, the two palette swaps that she has relationships with, that's cool. I kind of dig that. I like that. There's some universe out there where it's a thing.
I don't think it helps anybody.
It's not random. Kano would be random. It's pretty specific.
It's for people who are more gameplay oriented, who like that move, and maybe want to use that move in conjunction with a character that they can maybe enjoy.
I don't know. Maybe
not
the teleport dropkick will prove to be broken, and everybody will use it in tournament.
Oh god, it's gonna.
And it'll be
suck.
a purely mechanical. Characters.
It
are
looks
just
pretty
functions.
I'm just saying,
Infinite.
you got to see the other side of things. It's not all about plot. It's not all about appealing to the fan bases. This is now, for whatever you want to take it, an e-sport.
Well, I mean, it's also the whole mixed timeline thing. Like I said, I don't think Katana Con is going to be a thing.
I don't think
it'd
they're
be cool if
mixing
it
any timelines.
was,
I
but
think it's just 9 and now.
No, dude, you have both Katanas here. You got human and
9.
Katana, like
Katana,
you did in
Katana
MKX.
from MK9 and Katana from MKX.
So who fucking? I want to see Goro Con, dude. That would be tight.
Well, you're not gonna.
A what if
That's not a
Goro
thing.
Con? Dude, if anyone should have a
There's
fucking
one Goro
alternate
in this
timeline
game,
run
and
as
he's
Khan.
withered sitting on a chair.
Am I the one drinking here?
I should be drinking.
This Sai is pretty cool, though.
All right, so
Does it have a counter? Is that a parry? I don't remember seeing that move.
pouring one out for my fellow 13 Chameleon fans. We will never see her ever again.
Hey, maybe one day you'll get a Triborg. I mean, that's still how I hold that opinion. Triborg is a robot chameleon.
That's what everyone knows it is. That's all it is.
That's what it is in my brain, too. Cognitive reframing helps things. Fills the gaps.
So now we move on. Now we move on to Devorah.
Yep.
Okay.
So, this game had a singular mandate. Devorah needs to be louder, angrier,
Dora?
and have access
Like
to a
Dora.
time machine. And whenever she's not on screen, other characters should be asking, "Where's Devorah?"
We
I
saw
don't know
that
what that
intro.
bitch is, dude.
We saw that intro where now I'm going to just go as far into the denial as I maybe can. Because not too fucking games ago, Shao Kahn in MK9, which is the game that is known for fucking plot events in history, Shao Kahn was saying how he annihilated King Gerard. It's been basically all but firmly established across multiple games that Shao Kahn killed King Gerard, and that's how Ermac has his soul in him, because he killed him and put his soul in Ermac. And now we get an intro which has Katana asking if Devorah killed Gerard. She seems to be wanting to confirm a fact.
Let me see if that's how you pronounce that name, finally.
It
in-game.
is Jared, but the first time anybody ever said it out loud was Defenders of the Realm, where they pronounced it Gerard.
It's Jared. Thank you, Katana, for telling me how to say your daddy's name.
I don't like Jared as a pronunciation.
I don't like it as Jared either. Like, it's not spelled as though it should be pronounced Jared. And also, Jared is like
the subway
an English
guy?
human
Yeah,
name
I
for
know.
losers and the subway guy who turned out to be a pedophile. Nobody should be named
That's definitely
Jared.
true.
That's not a good name.
But neither is Gerard. Gerard sounds
No,
like,
Gerard at least sounds like a
Bro.
medieval fantasy name.
It sounds like a shitty George R.R. Martin parody name.
Well, that's what it should sound like. That's what
It's so
Katana's dad's
bad.
name should be like.
Call him Gerard. I wouldn't mind calling him
Edenia
Gerard.
is a
Universe
shitty
is-
George R.R. Martin world.
Gerard.
Anyway,
King of the
I'm
Disney.
not cool with this.
Adermia.
I can jibe to a lot of slight rewrites, minor retcons, but now it's like I have to go. You're not even fucking trying here, are you?
I haven't been trying for a long time. You're
just-
finally where I've been.
I've always been there, but I'm still trying to find some ways to make sense of it. Just seeing shit like this.
I definitely hopped
Shit
off that
like
train.
this.
Yeah, there's
It's like-
really no reward for the apologist. There's no
This
light
train
at
is
the end of that
where
tunnel.
I thought we were going to stop. My stop is a different direction.
There's
I
no
found
pot
out.
of
Just
gold at the end of that
disregard it
rainbow,
altogether.
It's not even a matter of like apologism. It's being able to overlook things, and I can overlook a lot of little shit. I can overlook the fact that Johnny now seems to be, like I said in a couple episodes ago, a B-list movie star rather than someone who is, rich and
A
famous
guy
and
who
actually
has
really
won
well
no
known.
acting awards while he's attacking you with an acting award.
Yeah, I can overlook that Scarlet has like the body of an orphan or something in there. I don't care. I can overlook that Cabal like flips personalities the way we flip flapjacks. But like,
Black
Now
is-
I'm a
point-
cop. Now I'm a criminal. Now I'm a cop again. Now I'm a criminal again. Now I'm a cop again.
Now I'm dead.
we have
Now I'm
gone,
Batman.
we have gone from Shao Kahn. We've gone from Shao Kahn taking over Edenia in a Mortal Kombat tournament and enslaving that realm and killing the king to Shao Kahn invades Edenia and has his people kill everyone, and then I guess he takes the souls that are left over. maybe.
Yeah, so
I don't
first
know.
of all,
It just-
for Devorah to have been the one who killed Jared, she has to be over 10,000 years old, and Chitin has to have been conquered before Edenia was. Neither of
I bet
those
she's got
things
some
make
old bugs
sense.
in her, dude.
Insects live a very, very short time, and we saw Chitin being conquered in the MKX comic book, and Goro was there. And Goro is not that
2,000
old.
years old. He's 2,000. And this is what happens when you want to keep things intentionally vague and go, everything happened thousands of years ago.
Yeah, that's a huge problem for the writing, that Edenia's conquering was 10,000 years ago, because that's such a huge fucking number. The only way that works is if Edenia is the first realm he ever conquered, and they are the oldest race that he enslaved, and all the others have to be younger than that. Like, Edenia has to be the top of the age chart, and everybody else has to live shorter lifespans, or else you're just breaking your fucking world building, because you've got all these immortal motherfuckers, like entire races of them, and then it's like in MK Legacy, Baraka was there. Now, Tarkatans are like animalistic people driven by their instincts. If they could live that long, then they would have overpopulated, like, within a month. Like, I'm sure they breed like rabbits. There's no fucking way that they can be that long-lived, or there'd just be way too fucking many of them.
God, do you see how sick she looks in this video game? Jesus Christ.
I want to touch on another thing about this.
I'm
my
not that
God.
impressed with
This-
graphics. I mean, the
This
faces are good.
lessens the relationship between Kitana and Shao Kahn.
Sad.
Elaborate.
I mean, they
Jesus,
gave up
damn
on
it.
trying to put any
Because-
depth between those two many games ago.
I was really rooting for those two.
Because I
man.
feel that it'd be even more like of a hatred towards Shao Kahn if not only he eliminated her realm, but also killed her actual real dad. Like, no one's like, I think it's fair to say that Shao Kahn is Kitana's arch nemesis, and you're not an arch nemesis unless you're responsible for all the bad things in their life.
I mean, he's still... You know, the argument people will make are, he's still the one who gave the order, it was still him responsible for it at the end of the day, and he's still the one who, raised her and lied to her and told her he was her dad and all that shit, but it doesn't really matter.
Still
What matters...
narratively fits better.
What
if
matters
he's
is
the
that
one
you're
who
never
killed
going to
Gerard.
see any kind of depth in their interactions. Like, the dialogue when they talk to each other, it's never going to be what we imagine it should be. They don't have it in them to write that good.
I just want to get this out there. It is okay if we don't know where characters who weren't around during the old timeline and are now big faces were. I don't need you guys filling up backstory for people you introduced.
Yeah, Kotal's backstory was perfectly fine when he was working for Shao Kahn, but off-screen. Now that we have this shit about him being in the flesh pits, it actually contradicts other shit we've been told, and now it's a problem.
The more you try to fit these things into old timelines, where there's already not that much time to work with, like, there's already so much going on. You're inevitably going to wind up stepping on other events if you don't know what you're doing. And doing this does not legitimize the character more. It just makes them feel shoehorned.
Yes, Devorah feels incredibly forced, like they're trying to shove her down my throat every time they create a past connection, a prequel connection between her and somebody from the old timeline that I didn't know about before. Like, oh, now Kitana has a reason to be mad at her. She didn't need that. If she was just a new character and could just be a new character and create new relationships, that would be better writing.
Like, it's one thing to go, well, you know, as a matter of fact, the Collector has been chasing Baraka for tax money for about 500 years now. That's fine. That's funny. That's a little joke. Don't make them responsible for key events to try to legitimize them like this. That's shit. That's terrible writing. That's awful. I can't really put it any other way. I can't sugarcoat it. It's just a bad decision. Anyway, she looks fun gameplay-wise.
God, she looks fucking good in this game, man. She looks so fucking sick. I really like how, like, she looks rough and, she looks like she's fucking been on the run. Like, she's a fucking fugitive, which she should, because, man, Absolutely. She pissed everybody off in that last game. And she pissed them off real good, too. She did a good job of it. So, I kind of like this, like, she kind of looks like she's got, like, you know, the circles under her eyes look a little more like rough circles under her eyes and not just like the pretty. She was a lot prettier in MKX, but I hope that's part of the intent. That she's not, she does look a little more rough and kind of diseased and buggy and whatnot. She's not as well put together and shit.
Yeah, they wanted to make her look more gross because she's a bug person. They nailed it. I'm just glad that render we got before has proven to be so unfinished. Like, she didn't just get clothes. She's got, like, coloring all over her body. She's not just plain yellow everywhere. Like, she's got... the lipstick is back and all that kind of thing.
I don't know if you guys have noticed, but...
We honestly should never have seen that first render.
No, we shouldn't have.
No, we should have. Stuff being undone and unfinished is kind of a recurring theme with this game. That happened in a lot of things. Devorah is just like one of the easiest, probably the easiest thing to point to and be like, this is like, in a nutshell, Mortal Kombat 11. It's like falling together at the very end. More so than games usually do. And games usually do that anyway.
Well,
but this time you can fucking feel that shit.
The technology gets more complicated with every game, but the window of time they have to build every game is still the same. Like, WB needs to change the schedule, man.
You know, listen, there's who knows what could have happened to come down to like this MK not feeling as sturdy out of the box as the other ones, and why they changed their initial E3 thing, and why they didn't get an extension in general. Like, why didn't they postpone the release? All these things are things that probably should have happened. They all would have helped. I think this game would benefit a bunch if it was delayed.
Yeah, I think, you know, this is a problem that the games industry has had for several generations now, because technology keeps advancing, and you need to keep hiring more and more people. Studios need to keep getting bigger, and they need bigger returns on their AAA titles, or else, you know, you end up like BioWare, basically.
And I mean, like, it's hard because if you look at this game, it looks really good. Like, fucking Devorah looks great. Kitana looks great. And most of the visuals in the game look fucking great, but it's the stuff under the hood that's the stuff that I'm talking about that needs the bulk of that polish I'm saying that could come with the delay.
Like
There's a lot of stuff.
The most important part of a game is really the polish it gets at the end of the cycle, I think. That's the part where it goes from being just a build to actually looking like a finished product.
It is. And it's still, like, again, it looks very pretty. And they've done a fucking great job getting it in the position that it's in. But I think this game, more than any in recent history, is going to be like, okay, wait for Mortal Kombat 11 XL. That's really going to be where this game shines.
Yeah, it does look good. I'm just worried that we are about to hit the beginning of seeing WB treat them the way Midway treated them, where they just weren't giving them enough time and resources. And I don't want to see that happen.
You could be right. No, yeah. It's definitely
I do tend to worry when there's an established game cycle in place where they're already going MK Injustice, MK Injustice, MK Injustice.
Yeah, just 2 years is not enough time for the level of complexity we're at now.
I'm not going to talk about Warner Brothers, but I think you're probably right.
Want to do something different. So I hope they get the opportunity to do so.
I think so, too.
So best fatality or best fatality? I know Temps.
So that gray meta chick that's responsible for the cinematics and shit, that woman is catering specifically to me and my love for John Carpenter's The Thing with that fatality.
Yes.
It is fantastic.
Like, this is lovely. This is the prettiest picture I've ever seen. Oh my god.
I do like that finisher.
I've wanted some sick Carpenter-esque shit in the game for a long time now. Oh my god. I don't have to try to beat Temp in a match now. I just have to pick Devorah in the bug stage.
I mean, we've all been joking that all you have to do to beat Temp is pick the stage. The Hive stage is so fucking gross.
Now it's
even
like
I don't want to see
or.
it. Like now
it's either or, and yeah, we got a good look at that stage today actually, and I love it. It's so nasty.
It's pretty gross. It's pretty dank.
I don't like bugs either.
Kind of sticky.
Me and Temp are not that different.
Devorah might be the only character in this game that comes with an inbuilt psychological advantage.
You know, I did notice her intro animations where she's like petting the slug thing and then puts it back inside herself.
Yeah.
Her vagina abs now have like an additional layer of gooey like
they
an
look more
orifice.
like lips now. I think that there is definitely a vaginal intent, and I'm not even kidding anymore.
I suspect Devorah might be the most expensive character on the roster.
Yeah, because like in MKX, they just kind of looked like her exoskeleton had doors that opened like Sector and Cyrax, and now there's clearly
fucking master mold.
There's some gooey like
she's
layers
giving birth out of it
and
though.
Membranes. I also noticed that like when you do a crushing blow on her, her bones are yellow.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's actually kind of cool.
It is cool. I like that.
Spider vag.
God, she looks cool.
So, I'm actually a very big fan of the Batgirl-esque web spin drop.
Oh, I love the web move.
That was awesome.
Doing that. That was, I think that was my favorite new move I've seen all day.
That is definitely my favorite new move too, yeah.
Like seeing everyone's model in the game have a version of it with just all that bullshit wrapped around it. It looks fucking really sick. Once again, a crime that there are no big forum Shokan in this game, because that shit would look hilarious. Jesus Christ. That would look crazy.
Oh man, I can't wait to see Shao Kahn in that shit. It's gonna be great.
Man, he's gonna be so big.
That's gonna be weird.
It's gonna be weird.
Like, I don't have a lot to say about her other than the fact that those babies that she can just attach to you and pull off of you at any particular time. Oh my god. That's a get out of jail free card for the end of a round if ever I've seen one.
I mean, they don't do that much damage, so it's basically fuck your magic pixel.
Yeah,
yeah.
They do enough. They do a little bit. It's something that I think I would keep on for insurance.
Yeah.
Just in case things are going poorly.
Yeah, it's just a little extra thing, which is like a side dish.
Like, as far as Devorah's moves, like, I didn't see anything that I was disappointed by, and she looks very, very similar to X, so if you liked how she played in X, you'll like her here, and the new stuff was all fairly creative and interesting. The only thing that disappointed me is I think her super is pretty boring. She just kind of stabs you with her wrist spike a few times.
Yeah, it's not particularly inspired. I think that she also lost her fake outs, they said.
That's a shame.
For me, one of the things that made me not like Devorah in X was her sound design. I hated her voice. I thought it was really annoying. I didn't like the little like thwip sounds that her ovipositors made when you did those moves. I thought they were super annoying. But now that they're actually out, they're not that annoying anymore. That's for sure. And I like that they're actually out all the time now. That's really cool.
It does make her model stand out more that the spider legs are out permanently and they don't just kind of appear out of thin air.
Yeah, it's like, dude, this is one of the features of the character. This is kind of what makes her sick. Don't fucking hide that shit.
Yeah.
Don't fucking hide her iron spider legs back there. Fucking get them out there.
Yeah, I don't think she needs to pretend to be more humanoid than she is. I don't think that's... She's not a reptile
not weird
type
like
of
Melina.
character.
So, I think that actually just might be about it, unless I'm forgetting anything.
God, she looks tight when she's flying around too, like buzzing around.
Oh yes, and
I love that shit.
The bug.
The other thing, yes, the bug. We got a little brief example of what happens when she dies and like she gets that respawn a la Jason.
Yeah, that thing's tight.
This fucking insect thing comes out of her and it can still fight you.
Her chest splits open when she dies, and a little like flying, like it's the size of a. I don't even know how to describe it. Like a very large watermelon, or it's
roughly torso sized.
Yeah, it's like a tiny little blimp of a creature, and it just kind of flies around, and you can move up and down, and you can attack. And
yeah, I can't wait to see that thing's frame data, dude. Like that thing is its own.
That thing needs a brutality.
Can it block? I want to know if it can block.
I'm not sure.
We know that you get an achievement if you actually win the match as that thing.
Yeah.
I feel like it's supposed to be pretty damned vulnerable, considering that particular fact.
It had some fucking overheads and some shit, though, dude. That thing's got fucking tech.
Yeah,
maybe it does a lot of damage.
I imagine it doesn't come out until you're on the last round, like you have to lose 2 before it pops.
Oh, yeah. That's how Jason was, right?
It's a Jason mechanic. It's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I want to know what happens when you actually win with it or lose with it. Will Devorah just get back up?
No, I imagine it has its own win pose.
Yeah, it has its own win pose, dude.
Oh, that'd be... Wait, does it?
It pops off.
Can you do fatalities as it? That's what I want to know.
Well, did they actually say it has its own win pose?
People.
No, we have no idea. We really don't.
Damn it.
I know it's going to have its own brutality, though. It's got to. I'm disappointed if it doesn't. But I think that's...
It's almost a foregone conclusion there's going to be a brutality for that thing.
I think that is today's combat cast in a nutshell.
Yeah, that was really it. We don't really have anything else new, do we?
They didn't really show anything of Cetrion apart from that outfit that we hadn't seen already.
No.
We discussed that all last time.
We do know that there's no cast next week.
Yes.
They're going to be on the road promoting the game. And then the game pretty much comes out before the next time we'll see anything else. So, well, no, there's a thing. They're going to be showing Shao Kahn on Tuesday or something like that on a different show, like an Xbox thing, or I don't remember.
Do we know it's Shao Kahn? It could be either Shao Kahn or KP1.
That's true. They could be showing off the DLC. The reason I bring it up is just to establish for the listeners that I highly, highly doubt we will see Frost at all before release. There's been a lot of talking about or complaining about on our Discord the fact that they showed Cetrion again instead of showing any of Frost. And look, even though Frost has leaked, they don't want us... They're trying to pretend it's a secret that she's a cyber ninja in this game, alright? So they're
Razor,
not going to show it.
What are you talking about? Where are you getting these things?
Spoilers, everybody.
All of these things that you're talking about now make no sense to me and have no basis in reality.
Exactly. That's what Nethercast wants you to feel. So they're not going to show Frost.
I also hear Motaro's coming back.
Oh my.
No basis in reality at all.
No basis. Don't fucking say that shit, dude. They did show, I'm glad they pointed it out, a couple of the tournament legal variations. Finally, our first look at some of the variations that are actually going to be in the final game. That's tight. I don't even think that we know if the variations in general that were in the beta are going to be in the actual game that ships. I don't think they are.
No.
Like the presets.
I mean, they
the
all
casual
had,
presets.
like, goofy in-joke names. There's no way those were ever going to be the official names of anything.
Who did they show? They showed a Jax and a Katana tournament legal preset. I wish they would have shown more. And I'm glad that 16-bit said it, because he's right. He's like, people are going to cap this shit and be looking at the variations in here. As I was capping that shit and trying to look at the variations in there, he was right. So I'm glad that we get like a glimpse of fucking the game, like the game part of the game that we're going to be playing in a week from Tuesday.
I mean, for the people who are actually going to use what they're given, I'm going to change all of that stuff. I don't play ranked as a rule.
Given, I don't got to, but I mean, you know what I'm talking. We don't need to talk about this again.
All right, I feel like it's time to move on to some Q&As. We actually got quite a few of them.
We actually kind of cleaned up the board for the questions.
Ooh, yeah, it looked really good in there. I was shopping through there earlier. The select screen portraits are looking good. I did want to throw that out there.
There's a lot
especially
of dead
because
people up there.
I'm sure they'll be shuffled around again because Cetrion was now in the lone bottom square where Shao Kahn is probably going to end up being in the final version.
Chibi. It's especially fun seeing that we did get that super early select screen leak. You can see like the difference between then and now. Like, damn, Aaron Black looks sick right here. Remember how fucking ugly that dude looks?
Well,
Jesus
without
Christ.
his hat or his mask, yeah.
Noob looks sick. Fucking Kitana looks super sick. Yeah, this is a cool select screen. I'm happy with what they did. Collector down there, man, that dude is such a... He's cool.
I am literally the only goddamn weirdo that likes a maskless Aaron Black, aren't I?
Yes.
There is not a single other person.
He wasn't an ugly person like in MKX where they deliberately didn't finish the lower half of his face.
Yes.
My problem with Aaron isn't really something the game is going to fix. I think he looks bad with short hair.
That's fair.
I want my cowboy to be like scraggly and long haired. That's just how
he's supposed to be a little bit rugged, yeah.
But if he's gonna have it, at least don't take my hat away from me. Like, if you have to do the short hair, like, at least just let me keep the hat all the time, because that wasn't the case in MKX. And boy, was that fucking.
I'm a little bit worried about Aaron's characterization in this game.
Oh no.
The more I listen to his voice clips, like as little as there were of it, he sounds much more like stereotype cowboy. He's got that kind of like yeehaw, like kind of drawl to it.
We're dealing with Sean Middleton's era now, man.
That's fucking terrible.
Have you heard the noises that come out of Liu Kang's mouth, motherfucker? Like, that's kind of that's deal.
That's the feature with Liu Kang, not a bug.
Oh,
you play Liu Kang because you want Bruce Lee.
I see what it is. Now it sounds super cool, but fucking, don't you sound like a cowboy, motherfucker?
You're confusing me again, Django.
I just want to have the guy from Mulholland Drive. That's all I'm asking for.
That is funny. Everybody's got a cowboy that they fucking want from this dude. Wait, did you guys wait? One more thing.
I wasn't finished.
This is very important.
It is.
He
can't
wasn't
be
finished.
All things to all people. That's true.
You're right, Smokeman. Go for it.
I was gonna also tie that into how his bio has the word thrills attached to it, and I don't. I feel that Aaron's characterization in X was so. Yes, they attach him to the word thrills, and I feel that if they change Aaron's characterization to be more like comedic, as opposed to the one in X, I feel that was a huge misstep.
He had a characterization in X. Oh my god!
Yeah, maybe this is younger.
Well, if I were to try and place why,
because it's like he should be jaded already in 1995.
Well, here's the thing. If I were to actually try to describe to a person who asked me, why did Aaron Black choose to move to Outworld? Thrills is not a bad word for it.
No.
Like, if you were the kind of guy, if you were like somebody who had no respect for the law, modern America is not the place for you. You would want to find a post-apocalyptic wasteland to live in.
True, yeah.
No.
So, question.
I still don't really like
Or not.
how he's supposedly being portrayed as more like, what's a good example?
Catchphrasey?
Yeah.
Stereotypical.
It's like, oh, you just made my day. Like,
Yeah,
fuck that shit.
He's fucking Yosemite
Stereotypical.
Sam.
That's how
Yeah,
Sean
that's a good
Kittleson writes, though.
comparison.
You're not gonna get anything else but that.
I
It's
mean,
like all
yeah,
the
I guess
puns
that-
Scorpion was throwing out in the fucking comic book. That's just Kittleson's writing style. He's not a nuanced person.
Did you
Some
guys?
pluses, some minuses. There were some good things about the.
Look, we lost
Have you guys,
Brian Chard, and we have to deal with it.
Sorry. Yes. Deal with it. Did you guys have you guys talked about, I don't remember when it happened, when we first saw Noob Saibot's actual face?
It looks like Leatherface.
I brought up the fact that he looked unmasked and that his ear was very, very distinctly visible last time, but I don't think that we saw his nose or mouth.
Yeah, I don't think we
did
saw the
in
nose or mouth
Crushing
either.
Blows.
We have now. We saw it in Cetrion's Game Informer video.
Really?
The mask came off. He had a great nose that doesn't exist. It's just kind of off.
It's the same video
Like,
where
that's right.
his clone is holding him up like Simba.
Okay, I must have missed that. I'll have to go back
Yeah,
to
I
that.
haven't seen that
he's
either.
sitting there. Yeah, he's just missing his fucking nose, man. He's like it's kind of like a skeleton or skull type
Okay,
thing.
that's
But
cool.
It looks like Leatherface is the comparison I draw.
I'm good with
I
the man
don't
having no
love
nose.
Noob
He's
not-
undead.
I don't like Noob strapping on his mask. I don't like thinking about that shit. But now he definitely does. It's canon. He does get up in the morning and strap on his mask.
Well, Havoc originally was a planned outfit for him in the alternate version, and that guy didn't have much of a lower half of a face, so
He also
It
has
does make
that
sense.
weird skull face in one of his MK4 outfits. It's somewhere between a skull and a gray alien, but it's got skull-ish features.
I do feel like they were paying tribute to that a little bit, which is amazing to me, because I always wanted them to, and I never thought I'd ever see it again.
Yeah,
It's a nice gesture.
I just liked the idea that he formed his outfit out of void bullshit like he does everything else.
I mean, the problem is gear has to fall off, otherwise it'll clip through stuff.
well,
But it keeps the safe in his
I
back.
mean,
It's hardcore.
It
It's a
doesn't
technical
have to.
problem. It's what it is.
you set up the camera thing to not clip through shit. It's not as hard as it sounds. That's not that much room, like between the mask and losing the mask. But they want to show off their really cool face technology.
It's really more about the fact that some of the fatalities go for the face, you know?
The face.
So questions.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
bad, I guess.
Also, Django, stop clicking on shit. It's really audible.
Oh my mother! God damn it!
Like this entire episode, I'm like, is he going to stop? Is he going to
Why
stop?
didn't you tell me earlier? Oh man!
I'm Canadian. I'm too polite.
Is-
All right.
You guys
Okay,
remember, like,
so-
a year or two ago when Cyborg would have to say, stop playing with the nail clippers every episode?
Now
did
the
that?
Those were good
student has
times.
become the teacher.
It happens to the best of us. Not my first time. Sorry, everybody out there in podcast land.
All right.
You guys are okay.
The first question by Kiala Clutch was initially sent to D4 and Cyborg, but hey, we can add it there too since it's in our channel. Since we've already talked about the new mechanics in MK11, what old MK mechanic would you want back to MK11 if you had the chance? Not even a question. Maximum damage.
Really?
Blowback? The explosion?
Fuck no!
No.
I'm 2.5 glasses of wine in, motherfucker. I just want to get to sleep. All right, no. Seriously, I think that run's kind of proven that we can't deal with it over again.
I mean, I like running. I'm a rush down guy, so I would like.
That was
I would
quite a
pick
mix-up
running.
you just threw me, Shadowly, by the way. I didn't know what was going on. Okay.
I know. I like to keep it unpredictable.
That makes sense.
Sure as shit don't want the rage back.
Ooh. boy.
How about aggressor?
No, not aggressor.
No,
fuck aggressor.
Aggressor just ends rounds before they start. It was
Man,
a bad idea.
those dicks who make the Mugen game put aggressor in, and now I have to manually disable that every time I download a new copy.
You're doing God's work. I don't know why anyone would want that mechanic back.
Can I cheat and say friendships?
No.
It's not
I'm
exactly
not sure if a finisher counts as a mechanic, but if it did, I would also say friendships. But I'm gonna go with run because I like.
I can't really think of one.
Space and not respect anybody's space.
I feel like they've made the right choices as far as that goes. It took them a long time, but they've finally gotten around there. Now, if you want to talk about mechanics I don't want to come back, I mean,
Run.
we'd be here all fucking day.
Like, I kind of feel like Run came back, proved it wasn't really necessary, and now
I mean,
it's
for
fun.
you
I'm happy
guys.
with that. I actually find myself being okay with how the game is currently. I'm good.
He's
we
good.
If we have a viable alternative to X-rays,
I do like that a bunch. Boy,
I got nothing
It's
else. that I
fine.
want
Like,
to
I'm
see
not
here.
complaining about the game we have now. I just, given the choice between running and not running, I would always pick running.
That's fair. You're certainly not alone.
yeah.
Air combos?
Good.
Everybody fucking floating and then doing it canonically in a cutscene.
Ooh, I know. Barriers at the end of stages. Make it all 3D again. Okay, from Aim Dopeness. Question is, why do you think NRS does not allow multiple characters to appear on the front cover? For example, I picture Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Raiden, and Kronika covered together. Not too many guys like Super Smash Brothers, but still something more imaginative than just Scorpion solo posing all the time. Yawn. Well,
So,
I mean, yeah, you got it. You can handle this.
So my thing is, I actually don't like characters on the cover at all. I think cover should always be a logo. I like a simple graphic design for the front cover of a game.
Do you hear this guy? I agree.
I agree with that.
I agree very much. But they had two characters on the cover for Mortal Kombat 9. They had more than two characters, I believe, for Mortal Kombat XL.
I find like the
didn't they?
covers
Really?
with characters
Oh, yeah.
on them, like the cover of 9 and the cover of Shaolin Monks, are kind of tacky.
sometimes less is better. There was something nice about the Armageddon cover, like the deluxe version, the steelbooks, where it had one person in the foreground and another in the back.
I did kind of like the gimmick where there were like 6 or 7 different versions of that cover, depending on like your own copy of the game would be different from somebody else's copy of the game.
Word.
I believe the one I own is Sector in the background and Cyrax's face in the foreground.
Nice. Mine's Johnny up front with, I think it's either Sonya or Kano in the back. Now, I have the steelbook MK.
I thought it was Goro for Johnny.
Might be. Who else have looked at it?
I don't think I have any of those.
I know there is
I got the Sub-Zero
Sindel and
Armageddon.
Shao Kahn one. There's Kitana and Melina. Shang Tsung and Zombie Liu Kang, I think.
Didn't
So, yeah,
versus...
it's been done, but
is.
I think a lot of the MK characters just have so much going on design-wise that unless you're going to do a gigantic group roster picture like the Armageddon roster, even then, it would just be kind of busy. And
Yeah, kind of. It's like, where's Waldo?
less is more.
I
really.
mean, more than the cover of the box, what I miss is the panel art on the arcade machines.
Yeah,
Specifically, like the MK3 one, where there was this drawing of like Sindel floating and Shao Kahn, and there's the portal and the city in the back. That was a really good art piece. I wish I had some kind of like poster or version of that I could put up on my wall or something.
I'm sure you could actually print one. I've always wanted to have a poster of like the MK3 attract mode Shao Kahn.
I like the MK2 arcade art.
Well, yeah, that was tight. Oh, fucking that shit was tight. You got fucking, what's that guy's name? DeVita? Was that one of the DeVitas?
Yeah, often the arcade art would be like a shot of one of the actors.
Yeah.
Like MK1 had Johnny Cage doing a jump kick. MK4 had a giant close-up of Divisio as Quan Chi.
Beautiful. And I liked UMK3's that purple skull motif. It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah, I really like the purple skeletons from UMK3 too.
Come on, man, that's so fucking tight. It doesn't get any better than that.
So Dap asks us, have we ever thought of, for the Discord, making a live recording chat where people can talk during the recording but keep the questions in here? Well, I guess kind of when it comes to you guys chatting in the Discord while we're recording.
You mean like...
I guess the expectation is just to, like, chat in the appropriate section, either general or casual convo.
Yeah,
Oh, I see.
I imagine the best place to have a chat while we're recording is casual convo. I think Cyborg has... He doesn't like there to be too many channels because some of them don't get used or some of them get used for off-topic conversations, and it's a fair complaint. I think we have a lot of channels right now, and we're always adding more when things come out. Like for the beta, we had a channel for matchmaking, and that'll be active again when the real game comes out. So there's always like this careful balance where we're worried about having too many channels and making sure that the right conversations are happening in the right place. And
like just scrolling through the casual convo section right now, there's been a fair amount of conversation in there about what we're talking about while we're talking here. So just head to casual convo and you're good.
Yeah.
So next up. Gonna go back in there. All right, Sevatar. Would the hosts agree that Aramond is a bitch, or is he more of a pussy? He is neither.
You know what? He's the mod who cleaned out the questions chat for us, so I'm not going to say an unkind word about him.
Aramond has been doing very, very well by us, as a matter of fact. Thank you. And I appreciate all the hard work and all the offers he's made to help. From the bottom of my little black heart.
That guy's a fucking champ. Don't talk shit about Arbon. He's in here doing the Lord's work, man.
Yeah, that was some hard shit. Like,
let's move on to questions that won't alienate our other listeners outside of the Discord. So, moved Tortoise, Havoc for MK11. This is a question for each Nethercast host. With the base roster pretty much confirmed, if you had the choice, who would you replace on the roster? You get 3 characters that you each have a choice of swapping out. You can choose less than 3 to swap out, but you can't go above 3. Also, this will regard the secret character slots and DLC unless we get more information on them by the time of this week's NK, which we did not. Quite the opposite, as a matter of fact. All right.
3. I'm going to think about it. Somebody else go first.
All right. I would probably swap out Jax for like Takeda or Kung Jin, maybe.
Maybe.
Either Jax or Jackie. I could do either one of them. I just don't feel like you had to have both of them. I would also swap out probably Sonya for anyone? Sorry, I just don't think she needed to be around this game much as I like her. And unless Kung Lao actually, no, never mind. We know Kung Lao is doing stuff this game. His past incarnation is at least. I kind of really hope that Devorah isn't around just to get killed. I've had serious reservations about her coming back since before we started. Like, I was convinced that Devorah was going to be a head on a stick in this game, and she's not. So, much as I do enjoy the character, she's not being forced down the throat, I guess she would be my third. She's not my favorite. She was not my most preferred choice out of all the MKX new guys to come in. But again, I'm a weirdo with weird taste, and I wanted Ferritor back, so who the hell am I to comment? So there's my 3. Hell, 4 even.
I'm gonna say...
Go for it.
I'm gonna say, instead of Cassie, Rain. Instead of Jackie, I'm gonna say... And... Instead of...
You broke up for a second there. That was Fujin, right?
Yes, that was Fujin.
Fujin.
And I'm gonna say Cetrion for
Oh, wow.
Reiko.
Assault is real.
All right.
I should clarify, though. My top pool is obviously Smoke, duh. Nightwolf, probably Rain. Well, no, definitely Rain. Reiko is up there, too. And because I'm a weirdo, Kai. I'd take any of those guys back in a heartbeat.
Razor, you want to go, or?
You can go ahead. I'm still thinking about it.
Okay. This was pretty fucking easy, actually. Fuck off, Jack, Garrus, and Kano. And I'm going to replace them with Reiko, Fujin, and Takeda.
Okay.
2 for 2.
All right. I think I've got my 3.
Do it.
First of all, I just think in general that 25 is too small a starting roster, and there should have been more characters in general. Because I don't think 3 covers all the characters that I want. The main thing being, you really need more of Trilogy in there if you're going back in time to Trilogy. Like, but for the 3 I would replace, I would specifically swap out Jackie, Devorah, and Cetrion for Smoke, Fujin, and Takeda.
Man. Females taking a hit, man.
I mean, I wish I could pick more so that I could get Nightwolf on the roster, because
Everybody wants to buy
again,
Wolf.
that's an MK3 character. And, like, obviously, out of Takeda, Smoke, and Fujin, the only one who's an MK3 character is Smoke. But, like, I have Fujin in there because, like, honestly, come on, you're doing Dark Raiden. You need Fujin if you're doing Dark Raiden. I've been saying that for a long time now.
It's not a hot take.
I just swapped Jackie for Takeda because I think they picked the wrong 2 combat kids. I think that you should have a mix and match and not pick both of the Special Forces ones. That's all. You need, like, at least some representation of the new generation. I wouldn't have picked the 2 that are the most similar to each other.
No argument from me.
But yeah, I wish I had more slots so that I could put fucking, like, Nightwolf and Sector or Cyrax in there, because...
Should we start that petition to get this game delayed? They can add more characters?
It's probably too late now.
I don't know, man. Dare to
I
dream.
feel like 2 weeks is a little too close.
Naysayer.
But yeah, those are my 3.
Boom.
Next question. From Theodore Seville. If I paid each of you $50, would you read an erotic fanfic on the show? Also, that $50 does not go to the guest.
I got questions.
Fuck you.
Pay me? Pay me? I'll do it for free!
This is the guy who is afraid to watch an episode of Conquest for the Lost.
Chapter 6, Bareback and Bloody. The Crimson Assassin moved her eyes over the horseman's taut, muscular form. In the moonlight, steel shaft of his
that's your
armored
pairing,
tail...
Scarlet and Motaro?
Yes, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay. I mean, you remember my whole, like, my claim to fame around here, the thing people fucking know me for. The cousin fucker. Like, I've already done this shit. This is easy. You're gonna pay me to do it?
Do people really remember that?
I get it, dude. Apparently, it's a fucking, that's what sticks out of people's brains.
I'm pretty sure that out of all our prior Nethercast titles, when we used to title our episodes, the one with the cousin fucker probably stands out as
Yeah.
Cousin fucker, man. Listen,
I kind of
it's hard to forget that.
They weren't helping our new viewer count, but they were fun.
Graveyard shift days. But yeah, you don't have to pay us, dude. We do this shit accidentally anyway. It's really stupid.
I've been threatening to write the Scarlet Motaro / fiction for like 3 months now.
Oh, you're really serious?
I apparently have missed all of those threats.
It's a running gag I have, and I quite enjoy doing it. All right.
Do it.
House of James. Question for the Nethercast. What form of media would you prefer the MK series to take? A live-action film, a live-action series, or an animated series made by WB?
Animated series.
No
animated series done by the Castlevania guys.
All the fucking way.
Every time they do MK in live action, they realism it up and it looks stupid. It has to be animated, and it has to be a series because there's too much shit to fit into 2 hours.
Okay, you guys are talking about, like, this question sounded a little vague. It's not like replace the video games with another medium for Mortal Kombat.
No, like, we're just talking about like a form of media. Like, what kind of TV show or movie we'd like to see happen. And it's obviously, like, it's direct to animated for me.
I don't even like anime, but I'd be like, anime. Right? It's fucking like, guys, just fucking do it. Like, I feel like that would lend itself really well to this type of story. But I've always thought that. But yeah, like Smokeman said, fucking Castlevania dudes tore it up. Do some fucking animation.
Excellent series. I mentioned this a couple episodes ago, but it's, for me as a Castlevania fan, everything I could have wanted out of an adaptation. So it
titillates me, man. It was cool.
Mm-hmm. I don't even need any more wall turkey. I'm satiated.
Turkey!
All right. Chameleon asks us, it would be interesting to see you guys compare the top 30 characters from MK11 video from a year prior to the actual roster we got. Any intention of doing so, or has it not crossed your minds?
Oh, it does cross my minds.
Wouldn't be a bad idea. I tend to leave that kind of comparison or retrospectiveness to our brainchild, but BC is absent at the moment. To our main guy.
I think that doing that is always depressing for me.
I was about to say.
I'm not really looking forward to comparing what I want to what I got and realize how little of what I wanted I actually got, you know?
Look at what you didn't get.
Yeah. That's exciting.
I don't think much good can come from this.
Look at all these dreams floating on the surface of the toilet. Whoops, there they go.
Oh, remember back when I wanted Fujin and Havoc and Reiko and
Remember all those games Smoke isn't in? Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Pepperidge Farm ain't the only one.
And it would be different if it was like balanced. If it was perfectly balanced as all things should be. If it was like fucking that, it would be a little okay, 50-50, but it's not 50-50.
Kiala Clutch asks us, will we see an MK tournament ever come back to the story? If so, would you rather have a tournament of all the realms involved or just 2 main realms?
I believe we will see.
Ed himself said that no time in the near future in that rapid-fire question session that he did. But when it's time for the series to reboot, then that's a problem. We'll see the tournament.
Yes, I was going to say the same thing. I think we will see a reboot in the next 10 or 20 years. And so we'll get Shang Tsung's Island tournament again. It's, time is a wheel. Lazy
that's the
Susan
whole
keeps
fucking
on spinning. Comes back around.
That's the pain. I don't want to do that tournament again. I want a new tournament.
You don't have a choice.
I know. I want the actual tournament for this fucking video game. Instead, they're like, man, we'll get fucking Conehead chick alien to come in here. Fucking around with time. That's a good story. No, do the Outworld tournament. Oh my god. No, fuck you, dude. Okay.
I've been saying for a while, the only reason I think they did the time thing is because all the heroes are dead and they'd have to use Fujin to beat Dark Raiden.
Yeah, it's just another way to avoid bringing in the 3D era characters.
Dark Raiden's not even that dark right now. Like, he's pretty,
as long as we keep living in Trilogy forever and bringing back Trilogy and finding other ways to revisit Trilogy, then we will never, ever, ever have to use those shitty 3D era characters.
We're going to see Bruce Wayne's parents' pearls fall for quite a few times more to come before we all die.
I'm not kidding. Time is a wheel.
It is. Caliclutch also asks us,
from Crisis on Infinite Earths to 0 Hour to Infinite Crisis to Flashpoint. And that's
MK now. Bum me out, man.
But you're going to get to see the great days again. Yay! All right. Caliclutch, do you think that after this week's Combat Cast that there will be a surprise KK next week to feature Shao Kahn and 2 other secret characters they have developed under wraps? Well, it sure ain't going to be next week as we learned today, but we're probably going to get ourselves a glimpse of Shao Kahn before the time is up.
Yeah, they'll have like something other than a Combat Cast, like some website coverage.
Yeah,
but I don't
that's
think we
about
will
it.
see. I mean, we'll see Shao Kahn, and we might see the DLC. I firmly believe Frost is going to be considered a surprise they're trying to hide from us, and the first time you see anything about her will be as you are playing the game.
Such a wonderful job we're doing right here in the Nethercast, helping them keep that secret.
Fuck them.
Everybody
Everybody knows.
They know we know.
Everybody knows.
Okay. Red Fiver asks, quick question, any thoughts on stage fatalities with what we've been shown so far? Seems kind of weird nothing's been shown or mentioned about finishers on stages. Ideas for the ones we've been shown? Well, I think it's going to be very much like last time where they patched them in at a later date.
Yeah, I think that's one of the downsides of the rushed development and things being kind of unfinished.
Oh, there is no way that there are stage fatalities in the base game. It's
I could
just
see
not,
them.
yeah.
I could see one shipping the thing, but I mean, it would be like a brutality, like it was in MKX. If it does come with the game as we get it a week from Tuesday, I think it would be like that. I'm pretty sure that was a brutality in MKX on the code.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
You got knocked in, and this octopus thing's tentacles just kind of grabbed you and ripped you apart.
No, that was a stage fatality.
Stage fatality?
Yeah,
Was it a stage
brutality was you did the uppercut, then they'd get knocked into the ocean, and then they'd come back up with a wave with like a missing head.
I'm gonna fucking check it out.
right,
Yeah, their corpse would pop up the way that one corpse keeps popping up.
But I do think a cool one for an existing stage would be the stages underneath the Coliseum with the bunch of cages with the rabid rats in there. You just throw them in there and then they'd be mauled by the rats.
What are they called in Annihilation? Velosphere.
I haven't seen that movie in years.
What are you asking, sir?
I don't think that anything in Annihilation was specifically named.
I think they call those cage things the Velospheres.
Let's...
Cool.
Why do we keep bringing this up? Are we closet American Gladiators fans? This gets
Look,
such an inordinate
it is
amount
part of my
attention.
childhood. I can't unsee it.
You have to let it go.
No, you don't. I don't have
Okay.
to let it go any more than Ed has to let Trilogy go.
Well, I live in the present, and here's what I think we could see. I think that we could very feasibly see a Nethership stage fatality, because I'm sure there's no shortage of horrible shit swimming in the deep that could tear you apart. I would not like them to reuse octopus aesthetics. You know, maybe have horrible outrolled sharks of some type.
Well, there is that intro where Geras mentions that Scorpion threw him into the Sea of Blood and a Leviathan ate him, so I'd like to see some kind of whale monster in that stage.
There we go, a Leviathan. Done and done. And also, since we know that the horrible, filthy mattress in the Red Dragon, in the Black Dragon Fight Club arena, causes you chip damage when you're near it, I move that you just grab them by the back of the head and stick their face into that mattress until they die.
You slam them into there, and it happens to be the exact spot of the mattress where, like, a used needle is sticking out.
It is not a clean thing.
It's so fucking
perfectly-
gross.
It's perfectly acceptable as a stage fatality. Anyone else?
I think you did it, sir.
I like it.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think we're good.
I think you win.
Clutch asks us again, do we think that since animalities and friendships are not in, do we think they might have rage quitters perform harakiri? I wonder, what is your take on that rumor? You know, it's a good
we know we
question.
have mercies.
Yeah, we don't know what mercies do yet. There may, in fact, be an additional finisher.
I think they said that quitalities weren't coming back.
That's a shame. 'Cause
One
I
thing or
actually
another,
do
I don't
think,
know.
like, Quitality.
I really don't know.
If
Those
they
were
let
good.
you, like, a full-on harakiri animation, like a short thing, like a guy doing a brutality to himself, that would be cooler than just the head explodes and that's it.
It would, I agree.
I would definitely not say no to that. Character-specific quit animations? Give it to me.
Word.
Are you still doing coke over there, sir?
Yes,
He's got
sorry.
sinus problems. It's a life thing. Everybody can hear it.
Sorry, man.
Nightwing795 asks us, I have a question, and I know speculation on things, but we're about 2 weeks away. It's been revealed this week's Combat Cast will have Kitana, Devorah, and With that being said, is our 25-character roster other than Shao Kahn? My question is, we still have 3 spots on the roster page. Do we think that there could be 3 secret hidden characters? And do we have any idea on who that could be? Well, that's a bit of a complex question. For anyone who's not been obsessively following all of the leaks and rumors and horrible, horrible things lately, it was speculated for quite some time that there were going to be 3 secret characters in this game. One was going to be, spoiler alert, Melina. Another was going to be Shinnok, and I think the third was going to be Shang Tsung, if I'm remembering right.
And we were also led to believe ahead of time that this game is behind schedule, and anybody could be converted from base roster to DLC if they're too rushed.
But after today, after seeing that Katana has half of Melina's moveset, I honestly don't know what to think.
Yeah, that really, there were some people very certain of those leaks, and now I feel that they are completely thrown up in the air.
I think Shinnok could still be possible, but Melina's fucking out.
I never really believed Shinnok in the first place. I was never convinced that we were getting more than 25. I think that those extra spots on the website will end up being DLC.
More than likely.
See, I really wanted Shinnok because his gameplay in X was so garbage and it needed more giant bone hands. And I really wanted to see that, especially since everyone that's come back is pretty much better than they were ever before. So I'm a little bit disappointed with that.
I don't know. I think that the story element of defeating Shinnok and reducing him to just a head would be neutered if he got his head put back on his shoulders in the very next game.
I don't care one way or another because, we've got Shang Tsung in this game. We know that already. And I would like to see what's possible for a game that actually has both Shinnok and Shang Tsung. I've mentioned that before.
Exactly.
Really separate characters, customizable so that they're nothing alike. Because Shinnok's always kind of sat in Shang's shadow as his own character a little bit. And there was a little bit of that going into MKX with the amulet fireballs in place of Shang's.
The hell sparks.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing if they are both in the same game, how they can be best differentiated. But right now, I honestly couldn't tell you what to think. I think that the leak happened sufficiently earlier on that it might have actually disrupted plans that were along the lines of that which we heard. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that there might be someone else in there that we don't know about, aside from allegedly Frost. But we'll see.
Come on, you can see her in one of the trailers.
I don't know who that is, Razor. Wasn't that Devorah in the background? I don't know what you're talking about.
Devorah and somebody who was standing behind Chronica in a robe.
Dude, it's just a fucking shitty-ass time druid.
A robe.
Yeah, all right.
Must be Ashra. Must be Ashra.
We'll keep playing.
Definitely has no significance. Just a time druid hanging out, bombing around with fucking Chronica.
All right.
Okay. Anyone else?
Time druid with cryomancy powers.
Hell yeah.
All right. House of James. Fun question. When playing MK, do we use the directional buttons or analog stick to move the characters? Nice. Being small.
Do we? The royal
Do we?
I've always been a D-pad guy.
Yeah, I can never adapt to using the analog stick for anyone who's not a charge character in Street Fighter. For MK, it's D-pad through and through for me. Can't do it any other way. Well, arcade stick, yeah, but more often than not, D.
Smokeman? Man Smoke?
He's muted. I don't know if he realizes it.
He's
I was busy with the coke.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah. What do you usually play on after doing a line?
Dance Dance Revolution pad.
Legit.
That's some next level shit.
That is very impressive.
Way to rep being a spaz, man. Like that's
He asked after the line. Like, normally I just use a normal D-pad.
Okay, between the two options given by our asker.
D-pad.
D-pad, okay.
Good man.
Yeah.
I'm already going through my head about how feasible it would be to perform some of those MK4 fatals on a DDR pad. Up, down,
Dude,
up.
Aren't
do
there
it
people
and go
who,
into
like,
ranked
just for the
and have a
challenge
blast?
will try to play games on, like, the Guitar Hero controller, like the guitar?
I'm sure of it.
That sounds tight. Go into ranked. Be fun.
Up, down, up, block, run. That actually could be kind of easy. Anyway.
I'm all about that D-pad life, man. Like, how do you... Like, you know, I'm not talking about, like, arcade sticks. Like, that's not one of the options. I imagine, like, it's just like the analog stick, like on a DualShock or something. Like, no, you gotta do the D-pad. D-pad's fucking the only place you're gonna get some decent precision and be able to lock that shit in, which is important in these games.
Yes.
I do happen to know there's a guy named, you know, Boone, who plays with the analog stick.
That's weird.
Isn't it?
I mean, the stick rolls around. Like, it's really only good for movement in a 3D space where if you're, like... If the camera is behind the character, like, for third person or first person, like, I can't imagine trying to control, like, a side view, like a platformer or a fighting game with the stick.
You'll end up jumping a lot.
Whenever I learned that. It was really crazy. But hey, you do you, Mr. Sir. Who am I to tell you how to play your video game?
I mean, is he good at his game?
You know, I don't want to put him on blast like that.
That's fair. That's fair.
You know, come on. I already outed him as an analog stick user. I'm sorry.
Little Papa asks us, what storyline from the 3D era would you guys want NRS to do again, and what one wouldn't you want?
Oh.
Okay.
The only one I wouldn't
I gotta figure this out.
is... I mean, really, the Armageddon.
Is that yes or no, or just Armageddon?
Armageddon is the one I wouldn't want, and I want all the others to come back. Like, I really want the Mummies and Onaga a lot.
See, I get that. And now I know you're doing it on purpose.
That was actually an accident.
Well, you need to do the Tezonde thing and move away from the mic to breathe.
I wasn't even... Was I breathing?
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like you're sniffing right into your fucking receiver.
It really sounds like you're sick or something.
Shut up. Editing exists. Fuck off.
So, I kind of get where you're coming from on that, but doing Deadly Alliance over again would force me to contend with a lot more of Quan Chi's shit, and I'm content to let him rest for a little while.
I'm not saying right now. I'm also not saying I actually want Quan and Shang to be the ones doing it. I just want the Mummies back as an element, because they were destroyed at the beginning of Deception and never actually got to be used.
I kind of want Armageddon to happen, but I'd like to have everyone get a valid reason for being there that doesn't require us to, like, play a game of Where's Waldo with the plot line. And I'd like to see some sort of concrete resolution to it. I don't know. Something about Armageddon, although we got a beginning and in effect a kind of end, it's almost going to feel like a kind of weird, unfinished storyline.
Yeah,
it's just not entirely there.
You're not wrong, and it's part of that is because the end we got is a bullshit end. Like, nobody actually believes, and then they all died is a legitimate end to a story.
That's it. But, like, Taven didn't really get an ending that resolved anything either. And I'm not even, like, talking about neutralizing everyone's powers or killing everyone. It just felt like there was never a way to wrap it up properly that could have satisfied everyone. So,
yeah, no, like, too many characters went into that game in the middle of personal plots that would take more than one game to solve. It was not the right time to do a end of the timeline game.
So yeah, that's my answer. And maybe while I'm there, I would also give Blaze a little bit of agency, a personality of his own, something that doesn't require him to be more than just, I don't know, lock device. Because that was another low-key disappointing thing for me too, because Blaze as a concept existed since MK2. And,
Blaze not having a personality is the main reason I say Armageddon is the only one I don't want to see again.
And
I don't know how
I'd like to resolve
fix
that.
him.
I don't know either, but
I've spent
I just
a lot of time thinking about how to fix various 3D era characters, and I just have nothing for Blaze, man.
I know. I'm with you on that. I don't know. What? I don't know.
I always kind of envisioned Blaze with sort of like a Silver Surfer-esque tone in his voice and personality.
I mean, even if you make him like this ponderous guy who's been watching and studying everybody throughout history, which, by the way, is the same character Garrus is. Garrus is not interesting either, really. There's not a lot of meat on that bone. There's just not much you can do with a guy whose entire story is, I was created by a god to fulfill a role, and when the time comes, that role will be fulfilled. The time has come for that role to be fulfilled.
I know.
The only way to make Blaze interesting is if he rebels against his programming and Armageddon doesn't happen, I think, maybe.
I'd fucking take it. I really would. An alternate telling that doesn't involve a pyramid necessarily even rising.
Like maybe...
Fine by me.
He's been watching and studying for however long all the mortals and their little lives. Maybe he gets attached and he decides, I don't want to watch them all die. Maybe that's how you fix Blaze.
I like it. It's just on so many levels. I waited for that guy that was half on fire in the back of the round of the pit too, to kind of become realized, and he's always felt like an unfulfilled promise on several levels. So that's my answer. All right, so Cake Killer Clutch again.
Did we go all the way? I don't know what the... Did you guys already do it?
You did it.
Or was that just like the group thing?
Mer?
Do what? Did you have a different answer?
What 3D game would you revisit, and what one would you not do?
None of them, because fuck that shit. Why would I go back there and make new things for people to complain about? God, man. Diminished returns all day, sir.
Ouch.
Well, that's the problem with the reboot is no matter what story you tell, it's going to rehash stuff that happened before.
And man, even good things they get remade, like the MCU, people complain about. So I don't think there's any good of going back. And people complain about going back already in trilogy era and whatever. Just I don't want to go back and
it's got the MK name on it. It's going to make $1 bajillion either way.
Completely irrelevant. That is not what we're talking about here, though.
It's too late.
It's going to not be... There's not going to be anything that's going to come from it that people aren't going to complain a lot about, which is fine. People are welcome to be analytical and whatnot, but it's... I want to go forward. I don't want to do the same things that we already did. And I don't want to do that because I like participating in the fandom like I am here, but I don't like people also being kind of sad and unhappy with stuff.
I think we're in a no-win scenario where you really can't do certain things with certain characters unless stories that happen in the old timeline have happened. And those stories were erased by the reboot, so to get those characters back to where we want them to be, you have to tell those things. So, for example,
I don't want to go.
If you are a fan of Shujinko, you can never use him again unless you deal with Onaga.
Never use him again or Onaga, and all this just goes away.
Well, what about people who are fans of Shujinko,
There's no good that can come from going back.
There are people who actually do want to play that character again one day.
I mean, yeah, we all got characters we want to play, man. That part definitely sucks. But, I mean, it's not going to end in people being happy. People want to go back, but that happens everywhere.
Like I say, it's
people
a no-win
always
scenario.
Want to go back, but you don't actually want to go back.
I think the only solution to pleasing everybody is to actually somehow unmake MK9X and 11, have Armageddon end a different way, and make a sequel to Armageddon where, oh, by the way, after Armageddon, Johnny and Sonya got married and had a kid named Cassie, and Shao Kahn is dead now, so this guy named Kotal has the throne. Like, establish that status quo, but set it after MKA. So we have this mix and match of the greatest hits.
And you're saying that's the way to make everyone happy?
I think that's the only way to fix some of the things that are broken.
That probably is one of the better ways to satisfy most people, but I don't think that most people care as much about going back and fixing those problems. A lot of people do, but I mean,
right? But are those the same people
don't, which is tough. Like they don't want to go back and change MK9 because they jumped in with MK9. Are those the same people
who would care about never having a game where Onaga appears again? You know?
Yeah, I never want a fucking Onaga in the game.
That's you. I actually think Onaga is one of the better boss characters they've ever had.
And that's kind of the point. Like, you know, there's a fucking fuck ton of fans out there, and it's not something where fans are mad. That's not something that you can really say because there's fucking so many of these things. These games sell to so many fucking people, and it's hard to tell what the majority is. And I don't think the majority actually wants to do the things that people say they do. A lot of them do though. A lot of fans do. I don't.
Well, my other thing is if you don't do Onaga,
remembers those games.
I do want to go forward and do things like I said, the Outworld tournament and there's entire.
Here's the thing: Joe Blow isn't going to know who fucking Onaga is. He's going to think he's a new character,
and yet they all sold so well.
My position is that if you don't reuse an old boss, you have to come up with a new one, and their track record for new ideas kinda sucks.
It would have been really good if that had been Dark Raiden. That would have been the way they should go, but that's not the way that we went. But they're never going to go back and actually fix things. If they go back, they're going to make new messes.
I thought Demon Shinnok was fine. It's closest I was ever going to get to his mythology's demon form. Man, yeah. He looked a bit too much like Dark Khan, but
I didn't hate it.
I mean,
there was precedence.
The yellow veins were there.
What they did with Shinnok was fine. What they did with the person who defeated Shinnok neutered what they did with Shinnok.
Man, it's also really cool that we finally killed Shao Kahn, like, definitively. That was also an interesting thing.
Yeah, and then he came back 2 games later.
Well, I mean, he's not Shao Kahn, though. He's some
time shenanigans.
He's another Shao Kahn.
You keep saying that. He's MK9 Shao Kahn.
He's not MK9 Shao Kahn. How do you know he's MK9 Shao Kahn? Did I miss a lore? Did I miss a lore minute?
Did you pay attention to all the trailers? Kronika only has the power to pull people from back in time. We're not dealing with an alternate universe. We're dealing with MK9 and MKX.
That's weird because a bunch of developers said that they were, but developers do PR talk, so who knows?
I haven't heard the developers say anything about that. I've heard them say that there are quote unquote time quakes that cause
but they could be
past versions of characters to end up in the present.
They could be very wrong.
We actually know one way or another. We're all free to assume, but I'm not going to assume shit until I go through story mode. Anyway,
I think I recall a dev on Twitter say that there is a reason why Khan looks like that.
We'll see.
I mean, we know how canon the human skins were in MKX. Like, you can play around with this shit. This shit doesn't have to be...
Raiden wasn't wearing his medallion in the flashback in X.
All that stuff. But man, yeah, I just want to go...
Everybody had the wrong clothes in the first scene of Armageddon in 9, so...
I don't want to piss people off again for new reasons to piss them off.
I don't think there's any story to these costumes. They're just
all right. I say 3 more questions, and then we call that it for the night because we're going on 2 hours now.
Let's do it.
Sounds good to me.
Also, I kind of have to wake up early-ish tomorrow because it's record store day, and like many other shit pieces, I have to be in line before the thing opens so I can get my copy of the Crow soundtrack on vinyl. Woo! Anyway.
Ooh.
Yes.
That's
so John Clutch asks us, a question for the lore guys on the podcast. Love you guys, by the way. Love you back. After seeing these trailers and reveal trailers, which character do you think is most likely to be the hero in MK11 or have the last chapter? And who would you want to be the hero of the story?
So,
Liu Kang.
Yeah, my answer to that for both questions is the same. It's Liu Kang. And Ed actually said, you know, in that 100 and some questions thing where they ask him rapid fire, he says Liu Kang is the main character of 11.
Liu Kang has not been the main character of a game, arguably, since Mortal Kombat 4. And that happened in 1997.
Yep.
I was still in high school. Some of you guys out there didn't exist.
I did.
We are
Good
happy
job,
for you.
man.
We are happy for you.
GG's.
But just saying, it's been a long time.
It has.
And it's overdue. It's overdue. I feel for the Liu Kang fans, and they need their moment, and I hope the fuck they get it. I mean, you know there's going to be multiple endings, so if they cannot get it,
there is that.
They get it.
It's like asking who's the main character of Injustice? Is it Superman or is it Batman? It's both.
It's true. If Mortal Kombat did have one, though, it's been a long time since Liu Kang's been the hero, but man, he was the fucking hero for 4 games in a row.
Yeah, and those are the 4 best games, so...
I would rather see, Sub-Zero do it, or
those aren't the 4 best games.
Those would be good if they could, but they won't do it. It would be fun to see Raiden end up being the hero of this game.
Would it?
As in, not kill everybody. And help people. But I don't know what's going to happen.
Look,
obviously.
If you were to pull Raiden from before he did all the shit he did in 9... and then have him kill his dark self and replace him, is that... did he do nothing wrong, or should he still pay some kind of price for the fuck-ups in 9?
Yeah, I'm always about people paying the price of fuck-ups. But he did kill Shao Kahn, which is...
I feel like I've had this conversation about a dictator at some point. I just can't remember who.
No, I agree, actually. There's a caveat there. I said I could see Raiden being the hero. I'm not saying that it would make sense, but I could see them doing it.
Would you be pleased with Raiden as the hero?
It depends on how it's written, but no. Like I said, I would be pleased. I've already put that thing up there. The whole deal where he does fucking do something and is redemptive and helps get rid of this problem, the rough problem everybody's dealing with. But
I just want to put out there that even if 9 hadn't happened, if we were just in a vacuum, and if I still liked Raiden as a character, and you asked me how I would feel about Raiden being the main character, I would say, please don't do that. Raiden is not a mortal, and it's called Mortal Kombat.
Dude, listen, you're not going to get any argument from me. I'm not saying I want to see Raiden win. I'm saying I could see them making him the hero, not win. I could see them making him the hero of this game.
I hope they don't. And it said it's Lou, so it better be fucking Lou.
I wouldn't mind Sub-Zero, because it would be nice for him to have something to do.
It would be nice just fucking once, for Sub-Zero to be the main character, wouldn't it?
It would. That'd be really nice.
Because, Mythologies is a side game, and that's not even the same Sub-Zero.
It's not. And that dude was a fucking hoss.
But he did have his own game. Not a thing a lot of people can say.
But that's Noob, not Kuai Liang.
It's still a Sub-Zero.
It's a Sub-Zero. It's not the Sub-Zero I want to see as the main character.
Well, what doesn't get? Just look at all them Melina fans. Next question!
Fair enough.
Borsche asks us, would the Nethercast rather have secret playable fighters or just secret fights like Reptile, Smoke, and Jade during the old days? Second part of that, would you guys prefer new characters as secret characters or old ones?
So the thing about secret characters that you can fight against but not play as is basically what Rain, Sindel, and what was the third one in MKX were.
Baraka,
yeah.
It was Baraka.
That's, those guys are basically functioning exactly the same way Reptile did in MK1, or Smoke, Jade, and Noob did in MK2. And so many people complained. People don't want that anymore. You need your secret characters to be playable. And that's why Cyber Smoke is the best secret character of all time, because he was the first one that was playable.
And he wasn't that much of a secret, because didn't he flip around a lot?
Yeah, no, he was visible on the select screen. His question mark thing would flip.
That was pretty much the exact same. Well, it's very similar to what my answer was. Is a secret character only if everyone has access to them and they're easily unlocked. If you know that they're there from the jump and they're doing the smoke tease, like that kind of goes along with that. I think that's a good way to do it. And I also don't think that it should be really, really difficult to unlock them, like Street Fighter 4 Akuma or some shit like that.
I don't imagine nobody would make it difficult, just because some guy for the tournament has to go through every copy of the game unlocking that character.
Yeah, it's a homie. What? Come on, man.
Just saying.
But I don't hate the idea of the secret character. It's just a matter of how it's executed. And as far as would I prefer secret characters to be old or new characters? Surprise me, dog. That's like the whole fun. Like, go on. Well, surprise me. What do you got into there?
No one complained about 9 because those were literally classic versions of the old secret characters, so no one really wanted those back. So there is definitely a spot for those kind of things to show up again. I'd take even a fake classic Scarlet with like half of Melina's moves, like size and stuff. Man, really rubbing the salt in today. But honestly, I would take, for secret characters, it's been a long while since a game surprised me with a secret character fight that wasn't a palette swap of someone else. In fact, I don't know if it ever really happened more than once. And that was Blaze in Deadly Alliance. Now, I know it would take an insane amount of commitment and effort, and probably more than it's worth in any case, but do you know what I would give to actually fight a brand new character that's not a palette swap of anyone else as a secret? That's the kind of shit that we took for granted back in the arcade days, and that just...
You mean brand new, like hella brand new.
Yeah.
Just like if Collector was just a secret fight.
Yeah, something
that was
like that.
Unlockable.
Yeah, that'd be tight.
Or even like an old character coming back that isn't in the base roster at all. Someone you just fucking stumble on, and the act of fighting or beating them either gets you access to, or even just encountering them, or I don't even know. But again, we go back to that discussion we were just having about unlocking and all the burdens that come with it.
So you're saying you want Hornbuckle to be a secret fight?
I mean, change the name, and I'm all for it.
The Hornbuckle is the only guy left
bringing you
who
the
hasn't
crypt in
been
Mortal Kombat
made
11.
real.
Well, no, not Shang. The guy in the crypt.
Give him a name. I don't care. Make it happen.
Danny Hornbuckle.
I feel like if you don't name him Hornbuckle, then you didn't bring back Hornbuckle.
That's true. Like there are really only two things you can say about Hornbuckle. That's what I thought about
Torch. Do you remember who Torch was?
Well, yeah, no, but Blaze can be Torch, and you still get it. You
can't hold on to the fan names forever for everything.
Well, I mean...
Well, Blaze can be Torch and you still get it just because he's a guy on fire. Like, Hornbuckle is literally just a man in black and green pants.
He is. You kind of need
So if you don't call him Hornbuckle, a lot of people aren't going to get who he's supposed to be.
Being Hornbuckle is kind of his thing.
They also said that he was one of the priests of Onaga, so you make a priest of Onaga with green and black pants.
I guess, but then you're bringing back Onaga. Or at least talking about doing it.
Yeah, it's a big commitment, but I know that you'd be happy with it.
I'm sure there's people out there who
I honestly don't think when they finally decide to pull the trigger on Hornbuckle that he will be a priest of Onaga. I think they will have completely forgotten that's what it's supposed to be.
No lies detected. All right, anyone else? All right, next question. Proud Disciple, last success. What will the Netherkast crew do upon release? Knockout story, hit the lab, crypt, or play online? Oh, I'm going right into story.
Story. I'm trying to figure out how to stream so that I can play story mode live. Or at least as a Let's Play.
PlayStation will let you do that.
If we can do that and I can watch you play it, that would be amazing.
Will I be able to hear the dialogue over all the cursing?
I'll have the subtitles on.
Excellent.
That sounds like the best case scenario for me.
I'm probably going to have a set with down forality.
I am going right into story, and after that, I'm going to do as much crypt stuff as story will give me money for. Then I will start grinding my ass off to buy everything in crypt the way I always do.
The thing is like, when the game eventually leaks next week and there will be story leaks, I'm reading that shit because I really don't care this time around.
That's going to be difficult.
That's a very valid point. As a matter of fact, if that winds up happening, you can count on my not being around next week because I'm just going to go dark.
I remember the
that
entire
works out well.
week waiting for X to drop was just me jumping from streaming site to streaming site, trying to watch people play story mode on leaked copies. And they never got every single one
There's
got to about
always that
Sonya's
one
chapter,
asshole.
and then their stream was shut down for copyright.
What was the temp spoiled for me again?
Undead Katana, Queen of the Hell Edgelords or something.
Oh
Yes,
yeah, the very last
Empress.
That was it. I'd forgotten.
Lou and
who that was,
Katana.
but yeah.
because
Temp ruined
he'd
that
seen
shit
the
for me.
costumes unlocked.
Yeah. I always go straight into the lab like day one whenever I pick up a Mortal Kombat. So that's probably what I'm going to do, right in practice mode.
For me, story mode is the lab.
Everyone has their lab.
I find practice mode incredibly boring. I don't have
Well,
the
then
attention
you're
span to actually...
perpetuating Boone's ideas of what story mode should be. Then
Yeah, but on a certain level, he's not wrong.
Gotta get good. Gotta go fast.
I mean, the other thing is like, so the first thing I do after I play story mode is I get everybody's arcade ending. So that's also training. Like, anytime I'm playing the CPU is training because
how
I don't
tedious.
go into
I'm
practice
gonna-
mode
It
at
is.
all. I find it boring.
I'm gonna do that too. I'm gonna see the arcade endings while I'm grinding for crypt money.
Yeah.
The arcade endings are really just YouTube shit these days for me. I don't like. I'm probably not going to go through there unless there is an actual known incentive to do it. But otherwise, I just want to play the game and get used to how the
it's a
game
two-level
feels. And jumping
incentive.
between characters
You're
is
unlocking
boring.
the ending, and you're also actually spending time playing every single character.
That doesn't help me fucking learn the game at all. I'm not that good. I'm not a D4 who can do that shit.
Well, no,
focus and
there's
be
a
like,
difference between getting good with every character and at least trying them out so you know whether or not they fit you.
That is a very useful thing.
Because we talk about who we're gonna main, and then who we end up maining is always completely fucking different. It's because you need to actually like touch everybody and see what they're
It's
like.
always different. It's almost never different with me. Man, do you hear me talking about Robin?
I hope Noob works out for me.
Boy. Me and Robin, we had a time.
I mean, sometimes you're fitting your square peg into a round hole, you know.
The character loyalist thing is a thing, and yeah, I mean, I'm guilty.
It's
I
like
should
when
branch
Temp
out more.
decided
definitely
I am
should.
going to play Shinnok, and then he didn't like Shinnok.
I gotta play Sub-Zero. Like, it's just a thing that has to happen.
It's fair enough.
All right, I think that's enough questions for one night.
Yeah,
grateful.
that's probably good. We can cut it there.
Because the next questions are about Devorah, and I feel that if we do that, we're going to be here for another 45 minutes, and I really need to get some sleep.
Yeah, some of us got to get to bed.
I thank all of you for tuning in, and those of us who
Absolutely.
stuck with us for the last couple of hours, and those of you who have stuck with us over the last couple of years.
This episode was a little bit negative compared to the past two because we got talking about their dumb writing instead of how cool the characters look.
Apologies for that. I try to stay on the bright side of things, but there's only so much I can do. Even me.
We can only promise you guys honesty.
When you get into
Still.
the story stuff, there's only one road to hoe. And it's
Boy, yeah, that's true.
it's just not what it used to be.
It's bumpy.
It's never going to be like it was again.
I'm going to finish pouring this for all my Melina fans, the ones that are actually hurting right now.
Yeah, sorry,
and are not
guys.
throwing fits and putting up selfish petitions. So,
They did it to themselves with the spamming Boone and shit.
I like that character, and I'm not going to let them ruin that character.
I do too.
She'll be DLC.
Yeah,
I hope
There's
not.
money to be made there. We said it when we didn't know. You know, before there were leaks, we were all like, Melina's going to be DLC. That's too much money to say no to that.
She makes a lot of sense for DLC.
I mean, if you see a pit full of, like, ravenous, psychotic fans frothing at the mouth for a character, you know what you do? If you're savvy, you go, that's a source of money right there.
Mhm.
Hell yeah.
If you're good at
Fucking
something,
right.
never do it for free.
No, fucking look at Shang Tsung. You gotta pay for Carrie, dude. Like, come on. This is ABC's
I'll
business.
pay for Carrie.
I will too. I'm fucking.
I already have paid for Carrie.
I would pay so much more than I'm paying for Carrie. That would be sick. I wouldn't even care.
That money has already been exchanged.
This is a done deal.
The
I'm
goods
in
and
the bag
services
they
are
know.
still on wait, but the money has changed hands.
Oh, and they know it too, man. They
As it
fucking
has-
heads over there. You guys are in the bag. You got this. Fucking pay for it. You guys ain't gonna
As
say
it has
shit.
for me. In trade value, but it has been for me as well.
Mhm.
Perks of the industry. I pay $100 for this game. Premium edition. I'm a bastard. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Love yous. See you soon. If not next week, then shit, maybe the night before release. Maybe afterwards. Who knows? We'll see what comes down the pike. I'm sure there's something to talk about before the game comes out. One more time at least.
Yeah, we got whatever that is next week. Whatever that
We'll
they're
find
showing
something.
off. Maybe it'll be the combat pack. That would be tight.
That would be great.
Oh, man.
I want to see Shao Kahn, though.
Well, I mean,
So
yeah,
do
we'll
I.
see.
So do I.
But I also want us, like, the DLC. There's some hope in there, man. Like, it's not leaked a bucking years ago, and
I really hope that DLC leak is true. The one with Fujin, Nightwolf, Sindel, and Shiva.
Didn't that one also have the fucking Joker?
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Are
Can
you
we just
sure
not,
about what you
please?
just said?
Look, man, listen, let's just do it. I'm excited just to get it and rip that Band-Aid off.
That Band-Aid underneath is an infected wound, okay? It's not gonna go
It
well.
is, but the Band-Aid comes with Carrie Shang, so it's gonna be tight.
Yeah, but Carrie Shang is like already on the Band-Aid. Like it's decorated with, it's like a little kid's Band-Aid with drawings of Shang Tsung on it.
Maybe Fujin.
Just leave the Band-Aid where it is. I'm happy with the
cyborg.
Band-Aid. I don't want to rip it off and see fucking Smilex gas injections into my veins.
Cyrax gas injections. I can't say the word. Injections is a hard word. Sorry. Okay, yeah.
The drinking, right?
The drinking, yeah.
Drinking.
I'm gonna have an excuse.
Fucking
The
beer
drinking.
and cocaine all night.
So I'm trying to clean up my act.
Surely go for wine instead of that with Coke.
Somebody needs to have an intervention for us because this series is driving us down a dark road.
We're at the end of the tunnel, folks. Not even 10. What is it now? 10 days now.
In a
10
week from
fucking days.
Tuesday, whatever that is.
All right, it's done. Get out of here,
It's
kid.
done.
You bother me.
Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Later, nerds.
There it is.
You're still trying to win?